Hey everyone, welcome to Websleuths YouTube Live. This is author and text Bug Nugget the First, Authy for short. He is losing his mind because he got a new little lamb today. So please forgive us. He's going to drive us crazy for a little bit. Hang on just a moment, everybody. I'm getting an echo here. There we go. I think I've got it fixed. Okay, now, also, we're working on the freezing problem. Hopefully that will be fixed here at some point really soon. And oh my gosh, there we go. I think I've got it now. I had 3 windows open and they were all playing me. That's a frightening sound, let me tell you. Anyway, he's a little wound up because he's got a new little lamb thingy. So if you see him running around here, please forgive him. He's just happy. Scrappy Joe is here. You can't see him, but he's kind of buried under the blankets because it's a rainy night in Texas tonight. Oh, we've got lots to talk about. It was a crazy day in the Richens case, Kouri Richins. Her boyfriend was on the stand and he got so emotional. He was crying. I think he was mortified at these text messages that were the jury was reading. They didn't read them out loud. They didn't read a lot of them out loud. And it was a very emotional day for him. So we'll get into that. Also, we have that exclusive Jailhouse call with Genie Ramsay, the researcher, the late Genie Ramsay. She passed away, but she was doing research for a book about Kouri, and she has some recorded Jailhouse calls. And Stacy, Insightful One, was a friend of hers, and she has permission to play these calls. Now, tonight we're going to talk about a call that, according to Kouri, the jail gave her the wrong medicine or too much medicine and caused a seizure. We're going to hear all about that. Also, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying his name again. Josh Duggar. Yes, he is back in the news. Josh Duggar seems to have come into some pretty big piles of money. Now remember, he is in prison and serving a long prison sentence, not long enough in my opinion, for having child porn on his computer. And he has as a representative, the same person, the same lawyer that represented R. Kelly. Now, I can only imagine the type of bucks that that's costing. I can't imagine that Josh Duggar is making so much money in prison that he's able to afford R. Kelly's former attorney, but I imagine Joe Bob and his mama, the ones that pocketed all the money from all of their 19 kids and counting programs, I imagine they're the ones putting up the money. You know, when you look at Josh and when you follow his story, how there were so many warning signs, and he molested his sisters, and they forgave him. They went on camera and forgave him, and it's just disgusting. And his wife, I guess, is still standing by him. I mean, but the good news about all of this, we have the expert. She goes by Little Texan on websleuths.com, and she keeps track of Josh Duggar, so we don't have to. So everybody, let's welcome to the stage back again to give us the scoop on the Duggars and what the heck's going on with that family is Little Texan. How you doing, Little Texan?
I'm doing great, Tricia. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm going to bring Stacy up here as well. Stacy, how are things, my sweet?
All good.
Everything's good. Okay, let's get to Josh Duggar. Little Texan, I'm just going to let you talk. You are so good at this. Tell us what happened today in court with Josh Duggar.
Okay. Well, nothing actually happened today. It was supposed to. He was supposed to have a hearing, uh, basically to discuss his 2255 motion and response to that motion, and then response to the judge's response to that motion. It's very convoluted, but
Yes.
basically it's all kind of started last summer. In a very small nutshell, Josh Duggar lied about when he sent all of his 2255 motions, which were, it's a last ditch attempt at an appeal, when your conviction is finalized, you apparently have 1 year exactly from that date for this 2255 motion to be filed. And he was late with that request.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge and the court figured that out probably fairly easily, and sent a motion to him about, or sent a brief to him about that. And then he wrote back this huge long response about how, no, he didn't lie. It's all totally truthful. And by the way, here's all the reasons that I should be set free. And then
Oh
the
my
judge
good.
wrote back and said, we're going to investigate the prison mail system from that day, from your prison, from when you allegedly sent this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a hearing on March 4th. And Josh Duggar then wrote back basically again and said, "Oh, okay, great. We're going to have a hearing. So these are all the things that I'll want to discuss, but I also still need a lawyer." And
Oh my
and then
gosh.
the court said, "You're
Oh.
basically said you're getting ahead of yourself. We're not going to talk about the merits or lack thereof of your case. We're going to talk about whether you filed in a timely manner."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was supposed to appear remotely. He had requested to not have to go to Arkansas. It's the same judge who presided over his federal trial a few years
Okay.
back. This guy must be so sick of him
Oh,
anyway,
I'm
but
sure he is. I'm sure he is.
and they granted that. Okay, you're going to appear remotely, and they had just literally 2 days ago sent him another kind of reminder memo, like, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, you need to be available at this date and time on camera in a whatever location. They specify you can't have
Right.
lights behind you and all these other things. Okay, great, great, great. So we all thought, okay, whatever's going to happen today. Then literally overnight, we get breaking news. He suddenly has an attorney, not just any attorney. He
No.
has Bo B. Brindle. I have to say that slowly, or I can't
Yeah,
say
because
it.
that's a mouthful. Bo B. Brindle. Ugh, that's hard to say.
Who is so famous for representing R. Kelly.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh yeah.
I I mean, R. Kelly was so guilty.
Mhm.
Would you really want the lawyer that represented him?
I mean,
You
no,
see what I'm saying?
no. I agree. I was thinking today. I thought, I don't know if Jim Bob, Googled how do I get my perverted son out of prison, what lawyer would represent him, and who's the best
That's what he
one, and
did.
somehow
That's what he
found this
Googled.
guy. Because I feel like if I, oh God forbid, I were Jim Bob Duggar, ugh, and we're trying to help this freak in prison, I think I'd look for a lawyer who won those kind of cases, as gross as that
Yes,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody that could, perhaps have, if you're going to pay big bucks, which I would imagine this
Hmm.
lawyer is not cheap. And again, it's got to be Joe Bob. I mean, who else would pay for that?
I very much agree. I don't know who else it would be. I love that he's throwing more money at this because this is
Yes.
pitiful. Yeah, Bo Brindle doesn't have a great record really in terms of help. I mean, R. Kelly is in jail, which is great. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know how they found him. He also is not licensed to practice law in Arkansas. So he, in his motion or in his request for the continuance, which was granted by the
Hmm.
judge, he also requested to be able to represent him. There is a way they can do that, but they have to get permission, even
Right.
though he's not, licensed in Arkansas. But there's also typos in his like 2-page memo request.
Seriously?
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
man. I mean, okay, I can see maybe if it was from the jailhouse, but
Oh, sure.
a professional lawyer with
Hmm.
typos, that's what everyone's going to be putting this under a microscope because it's
Hmm.
Josh Duggar. And
Hmm.
he's so disgusting that
Hmm.
we want to find everything we can about him. I mean, again, this guy can't be cheap, but what kills me is you and I were talking about this behind the stage before you came out, and he wants to bring up all this other stuff, like you said.
Hmm.
He
Yep.
wants to bring up why his conviction was wrong and why he's innocent. And
Hmm.
check me. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here babbling, but because I'm just so shocked.
It's shocking.
But
Yeah, I think that's why it's funny that Jim Bob would hire somebody who is, as far as we know, expensive because they are trying. I mean, what Josh obviously wants, because he has
Mm-hmm.
never to this day admitted to any wrongdoing. None of
Right.
it. He's never admitted to any of it. And so what he wants is for everything to be thrown out. But what
Yes.
he'll apparently settle for is relitigating everything. So let's have another
Mm-hmm.
trial, whatever, whatever. It's always the same tired talking points. I mean, I guess if this strange lawyer wants to, I don't know why anybody would want to do this, even someone like that, but we'll see. So I guess, unfortunately, stay tuned, because there's been a continuation granted, and now we don't know when it will be. We'll have to wait to hear
Okay, so they
when that
haven't set
new
an
date will be.
actual date yet, right?
Not yet, because that just came in overnight, and the date was,
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be today, and they just said the judge granted it in what I read, but as far as resetting the date, we don't know when that'll be. I hope he doesn't give them too much time, because truly.
Right. Well, I mean, and let's remind everybody, he was caught with this on his computer.
Hmm.
Not only was he caught with this on his computer, he was caught manipulating his computer
Yes.
because it had like this watchdog program on it, and
Hmm.
he somehow circumvented that so
Yes.
it wouldn't alert, I think, to his wife, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct. Hmm.
and that he was looking at these pictures, and he was
Hmm.
able to circumvent that. It's all on his computer, and he was the one that had access to this computer, and he's
Right.
saying, no, it's not me. And yet he's had
Right.
this problem. I mean, look at what
Yes.
he did to his sisters. And what did they do? What did the Duggars do? Oh, they sent him to a counselor who was a cop who is also in prison now for
Hmm.
child porn.
Yep.
So yeah, and he just had to go talk to him, and then they sent him to a camp so he could pray it all away,
Hmm.
and it didn't work. I'm so angry at TLC for giving
Hmm.
these people a platform. They're
Oh yeah.
monsters, in my opinion. The parents, I mean, they're small, and they created a monster in Josh. And he's, when he gets out, he'll be able to be around kids. I would think his own kids. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
some people seem to think that might be part of why he's so adamantly. I mean, who knows? He's probably also just bored. I,
Yes.
I honestly doubt that prison's real hard for him. I don't think he's even in Gen Pop, and he's at a
Hmm.
prison in Seagoville, Texas, which is it's I think it's like mid-level, and it's basically filled with people like Josh. So they're all
Right.
kind of like him there. And so I doubt I just think he would adapt really well. Look what he grew up in, a giant family, and
Hmm.
he doesn't have to do any work, and he's used to not, doing anything. So
Right.
it's probably not that bad, but some people think he may just be trying to get out, or try to get the charge thrown out, overturned, whatever, so desperately, because apparently, what was tacked on to the sentence is a 20-year. They don't do parole in the federal prison system, but a 20-year probation period, where there are strict rules about the minor children that he can be around,
Hmm.
and I believe even for his own children, he'll have to be supervised. Now, we know who will be supervising him. It'll be Anna, his wife.
Yeah, his wife. And how she
But
could stand by him. I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, 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 that I'm just, but what will she do? I mean, she's not going to be
Right.
much of a guard for him. She has reappeared a little bit recently on social media. So she
Oh, tell
had
us what the
blessedly
deal
kind
is.
of crawled away for a
Hmm.
while, other other than to occasionally put out a tweet about how much she loves the president. Every now and then she'll do something like that. I suppose angling for a pardon or something, who knows.
Oh,
But just
brother.
very like random stuff,
Right.
you don't then you wouldn't hear from her. So what was discovered, though, a few months ago, is that apparently for the past couple of years, she has been a backyard puppy breeder.
What?
And, hmm well, she has to breed something, Tricia.
Well, that's true. She can't breed her kids, have more kids. She can't sit there and pop them out like, pieces of candy.
That's all
She
she
got to
knows how to
breed
do.
something. You're right. You're so right.
So,
Oh my God.
so they're apparently, I don't know much about dogs, y'all. I'm a cat person, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently they're English cream golden retrievers, which I don't even think is a real breed exactly.
Right.
It's a color variation, as I understand it, of golden retrievers. So not like a separate breed per se.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they just are a certain color. And they're adorable. They're,
Right.
cream colored golden retrievers. They're really, really cute. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her if
Oh
I were going to
no.
get a dog.
Absolutely not. And again, there are so many dogs that need homes,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Uh-huh.
It's like, but again, she's trying to raise money. And
Hmm.
then
Oh yeah.
when he gets out, he'll be the head of the household again. And he'll be the
Hmm.
one in charge. And
For sure.
it just makes me sick. And
Yeah.
I'm
So
thinking, what
she has her
about your
kids.
children?
Well, she has
Yeah.
her kids on this website. It's called, I think it's Grove Pups or something, is her
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and videos of the kids with the puppies. And then
Of course.
she couches it in this whole, like, they're going to their loving homes, and she makes it sound like it's adoption. It's absolutely not adoption. She's selling
Right.
them for hundreds to thousands of dollars. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows what kind of medical care she gets for them? I mean, I suppose they get some kind of checkup, but
I,
she has, I think, one female. It's either one or two females and then like one male dog that,
and then she
produces
just
all
breeds
these.
them, just
Hmm.
breeds them out.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
they probably, I have no idea. I'm just assuming because of the character of the breeder that they
Hmm.
probably have all kinds of health issues.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't trust anything this family does. It's always a grift. It's always a way to get money, you
Same.
know?
Yep.
It's
Agree.
always a grift. And it just makes me so damn mad. And the fact that she's not protecting her children. I mean,
No,
how in the world could she not say, bye, Josh, see ya? I'm not going to have my kids anywhere near you, you sick, twisted son of a bitch.
it's especially wild because she's one of, I think, seven kids. It's not
Mhm.
anywhere near the size of his family, but still big.
Right.
And I believe at the time that it all kind of came out, not even so much the horrible material on his computers, because as I think we've discussed, fundies don't necessarily care about that as much,
Mhm.
but the divorce or the cheating that could lead to divorce was
Yes,
a much bigger scandal.
it
And
was huge.
so, yeah. And at the time, one of her brothers, who I have actually read has since kind of re entered the cult, unfortunately. But at
Mm.
the time, he was one of the most normal ones in the family. He had
Mm-hmm.
begged her to leave Josh. He said she could stay
Really?
with him. Yeah, it was like he
Wow.
publicly begged for her to just leave this guy, and she wouldn't
Right.
do it. And she has at least one sister who has gotten divorced in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt the family is excited about that, but I don't think she's been fully shunned either.
Right.
So to act as if, yes, there's no way in, under the sun she could leave him. But then again, who's bankrolling her whole lifestyle? Jim Bob.
Well, that's a very good point. Jim Bob is, and so she's got to keep that up,
Hmm.
And you're right. And Jim Bob controls everything. It's all under his thumb,
Yes.
thumb, and all those millions he made from TLC. And which Duggar was it that wrote that they didn't really get paid hardly anything?
Jill.
Um, Jill, yeah, she really uncovered. You looked under the rock and saw the snake that this guy is,
Hmm.
and he just really took advantage of his family, and TLC let him. Again, I'm disgusted with TLC by normalizing these people. There's
Hmm.
nothing normal about them. They were abusive. They followed a man who taught abuse
Hmm.
about to abuse kids, and the fact that Josh Duggar's wife is still married to him, and that is even more upsetting. That Josh's brother begged her to leave and said, "I'll help you. You can come live with me," and she
Anna's
wouldn't.
brother, but yes, yes. Hmm.
I'm sorry, Anna's brother. I thought it was
Hmm.
Josh's brother. Anna's brother. Well, and you say he's back in kind of in the cult
That's
now
what I've
again?
heard, is that he might not be much of a rescuer these days, but at the time, but
Mhm.
I know she has at least one sister who is not a cult member.
Yeah, who could step in and help, you
Hmm.
know? So again, it's so troubling. And he's supposed to get out in like 2032. Is that when he's supposed to get out?
Unfortunately, yes.
And he's gonna, I doubt he'll get out early, but and then he's probably, you say they don't have probation in federal prison, right? But he will have rules that he has
They
to
don't
follow.
have parole per
Oh,
se.
parole.
I think they
Okay.
have probation.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, he could still violate rules. And the
Right.
biggest one for him will be, of course, being around minor children or anything to do with minor children.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, I mean, luckily, some of his kids will be adults by then, thankfully.
Yes.
Not all of them. but then again, the family just keeps expanding. So there's always going to be little kids around.
Right.
Um,
And
yeah.
and she got married so young that when
Hmm.
he gets out, will she still be of childbearing age possibly?
Oh yeah, I think she'll be like
Uh,
43-ish.
oh, that's hey, you can
So
still pop him out, sure.
yeah, I mean, I think most of us unfortunately expect, just expect that that will be the first thing on the list. Because
Oh,
also
that's
one of her
disgusting.
sisters, so one of her sisters who is still a cult member,
Mhm.
um, she just announced that she's having baby number 8. And I know
What?
that grinds Anna's gears because Anna had to stop at 7 because the pedophile went to prison.
Yeah, because yeah, the provider of the seed went to prison.
Uh-huh.
God, that's
Yep.
disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that somebody has been able to talk some sense into Anna's kids as they get older. Is there any hint that these kids might be leaving this cult, maybe?
I just can't imagine. I think we had heard a few years back that if they were being, I mean, obviously they must be getting told something. I'm sure at least the
Mhm.
oldest ones know where he is. But I think it's always been framed as he's being persecuted by the government.
Oh,
It's a
sure.
false accusation.
Oh, that's
He's,
true, right, right.
and even in what I doubt most of them would even know really the type of thing he's alleged, he's in there for, even though of
Mhm.
course he's not guilty to them. But
Oh, of course,
I
absolutely.
don't know. I mean, I hope some of them can figure this out as they, especially these poor girls in the family as they get older. But I I don't know. And then family friend who I think I mentioned last time I was on, Carver Bowers,
Oh, yes, yes.
he's out on bail again. He's been arrested a couple of times, and his loving sweet wife, that idiot brainwashed girl,
Yes,
keeps bailing him
yes.
out, and
God,
her
and
mom
what
keeps
is he
trying to get
arrested
her.
for?
His is really, really bad.
Mhm.
It's like 2 counts of SA against a child under the age of 12.
Oh my god.
Um, we
Mm.
don't know if it's one child, more than one count, or two separate victims. I don't
Right.
believe we know the gender of the child, although I think the girl's mother may have said it was a girl. I'm not
Mhm.
positive about that, but
Okay.
it was a little kid. And
That makes
so,
me sick.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, and that's, of course, their friend, and,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
close friend.
good
Hmm.
close friend.
Hmm.
What are they gonna do when they get out together? They're gonna hang out and talk scripture? I doubt it. I think they're gonna hang out and compare notes and pictures. I hope they keep an
I
eye.
mean,
I just, hyper focus on
Carver
these 2.
Carver hasn't, yeah, so I'm very focused on him because he's out on bail again and
Mhm.
he's not been convicted yet. And his wife, who keeps bailing him out, her mother, this is an interesting case because her parents are super culty as well, but her
Mhm.
mother very much dislikes Carver, like hates Carver, and keeps
Oh,
putting
okay.
stuff on social media about desperately trying to basically unbrainwash her daughter. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, part of it is her own fault because of how she
Yes.
raised her to worship men and he's her headship. And we,
Right, of
you know,
course.
we, the father gives you to your husband, and that means like he owns
Ugh,
you and all. So, I mean, part of me is thinking it's a little late, but at
yeah.
the same time, I do feel for her because I think at least now she sees there's a big problem here and she really doesn't want her daughter to stay married to this guy or be around him. And the
And,
daughter,
right.
yeah.
So at least she's trying. I mean, at the very
Yes.
least, you can say that she is trying, absolutely.
Yep.
And again, we can only hope. Somebody asked, "Who is Jill?" Do you want to explain Jill? Jill's one of the Duggars and a
Oh,
sister for
Jill.
Josh.
Yes, Jill Duggar Dillard. She
Mhm.
married a man named Derek Dillard. She is the fourth Duggar child, I believe. Yeah,
Mhm.
fourth. So there was Josh, and then there were twins, Jana and John David, and then there was Jill. So fourth out of 19. She was very much like a very golden child growing up. And when we saw her on
Mhm.
the show, she was always, I mean, they're all obedient because it's a cult and eat
Right.
them. And, I mean,
Yeah,
that's why I always say these kids
exactly.
are really wild. But she was especially compliant. She was like
Mhm.
one of the ones they'd always describe as just so sweet and meek and kind and helpful and blah, blah, blah. And I think it all kind of blew up in her face as she got older and, you know, was confronted with what her parents were
Yeah,
doing in terms of
doing
at least
right,
monetarily, and then
right.
how they were protecting Josh because she was one of his victims and she self outed herself, about that
Uh-huh.
years ago.
Right. But at
Yeah.
least she's kind of normal, like
She's one of them.
yes.
Yeah, she comes probably closest to approaching normal out of all
Yeah,
of, at least the older children. Some of the kids
right.
are not adults yet, even of the
Hmm.
original 19s. They're close, but they're not quite adults yet. But yeah, I mean, I have hope for some of the younger ones. Maybe, I don't know, but
Have to see. Have to see. Half Past Haku says, "Why mad at TLC? I'm mad at the viewing public and sponsors. Without viewers, they got
sure,
nothing." And I agree with you, absolutely. But I'm mad because TLC misrepresented who these people really were.
yes.
In my opinion, they right? Don't you agree, Little Texan?
Oh,
They,
absolutely. Yeah, and we
yeah,
always knew they were strange and maybe there was something bad going on, but not
hmm
necessarily to this level. Not Josh Duggar
right.
levels of horror.
And they had been trying to cover him up, cover up what he had done for decades.
Hmm.
And Oprah found out she was going to do a special on the
Yep.
Duggars, and then somebody whispered in her ear, "Josh Duggar did this," and so she canceled.
Hmm.
But yeah, TLC packaged them in such a way that they looked quirky and cute and
Hmm.
fun. And no,
Yeah.
the women are absolutely repressed. They are controlled by the men. They are not allowed to think for themselves at all. And
Correct.
it is this guy and Jim Bob, in my opinion, totally used and abused his kids by forcing them to be in this show. He kept a lot of the money. I mean, it's just terrible. And they will not accept that their son Josh is a pedophile. So
Correct.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what were you going to
he
say?
kept all of the money from what we know from Jill.
Yes.
There have been other big families on TV, and I'm not saying they were much better, but we know at least in some cases, we've heard at least that some payouts were made to like minor
Hmm.
children who were on the shows or they put in an account. He kept all of it.
Yes. All of it. And they had to do the work and he kept all, you know why?
Hmm.
Because he's the guy, he's the head of the household. God is the one that appointed him according to how they believe. And
Yes.
to present that to the viewing public as some sort of normal thing to do is horrific. And
Hmm.
those kids, I hope they have a chance at a normal life. I hope they get away from their crazy parents. I mean, what's the mom's name?
Michelle.
Michelle Duggar. She talks like this, and oh God, just makes me sick to my stomach. And when you read about the things that they would do while raising their kids, blanket training,
Hmm.
I mean, they would hit their kids. It was horrible. It was today, if they were doing that and caught, they would be arrested for abuse.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, we don't know what goes on with those people. I just think they're awful, in my opinion. They're horrible, and they have a pedophile for a son, and they refuse to accept it by showing this this that Josh has got this, I'm sure, a pretty uh, expensive attorney, and of course,
Yes.
again, and he's trying to say, "Well, Your Honor, it wasn't my fault. I did file this, whatever it is, in time, and I should be allowed to do this. I did file it in time. It was the prison's fault." I
Hmm.
have a feeling they're going to do an investigation and see that he just blew it and he's
They
trying to
kind of,
lie. And
yeah.
and yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they kind of did. I mean, that's
Hmm.
kind of what they were going to talk about, I think, or will
Yeah.
talk about. They kind of have already called him out on that. Of course, he's always, gotten his retorts in. But one of the dumbest things he did with this mailing is he claimed it was mailed through the prison system, which is,
Hmm.
gets delayed, whatever. But the packet that they received, the first packet, mind you, there were two, which is
Hmm.
also fishy. They shouldn't have gotten two. But the first one, it had a whole bunch of stamps on it. None of them were canceled. There was no postmark. And
Okay.
he's
No,
like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, that's wrong. That means that means it wasn't mailed. It was handed to
correct,
somebody, is what it
correct.
means.
Hmm.
You know?
Yep,
Oh my gosh.
yep. So that's part of it. Either Anna, probably Anna, maybe Jim Bob
Hmm.
or Michelle was involved with this on the outside.
Right.
It didn't, it went through, and also it went through the other packet that did get mailed didn't go through the Bureau of Prisons either. It was through the U.S. mail. And the way apparently prison mail works is it first goes through your prison mail and they stamp it with something, and then it
Mm-hmm.
exits the prison and goes into the U.S. mail system, and then it
Okay.
gets another. And his only had the U.S. mail, the second one. So any backdated forms, there's a lot. But he's
Oh my God.
claiming,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
he's
again,
claiming it was all up and up. You know,
not taking responsibility
no.
here, but trying to lie and get and just try and get his lie his way out of this. That's so
Hmm.
typical. And
Yep.
again, when you go back and we've gone through the details of this case, little Texan, and it
Yes.
is horrific what he was doing. They
Yes.
had him just flat out doing this. I mean, he had it on his computer. There was no mistake about it. And he tried to cover it up. I mean, it's all done electronically. It's point A, point B, point C. It is, they found it. They found it.
Yes. And one of the things they found, the Homeland Security uh, detective or whatever
Mm-hmm.
agent who testified, unfortunately has a job where he would have to see all kinds of horrific things all the time,
Mm-hmm.
testified that one of the files on there, one of the videos is in the top 5 worst CSAM videos he's ever known of.
Right. Just, I mean,
So,
that's how bad it
let that
is.
sink in how bad it is. Yeah.
Exactly. I brought up blanket training, and I should have explained it, but thank you, Jesse Roblin. Uh, Here's blanket training. This is what they practice. Uh, Basically, they put their babies on a blanket on the ground and ignore them and punish them physically if they cry or move. And don't they put a toy just out of reach,
Yeah,
like
it's even
something that
more
they really like?
cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even more cruel than just setting them on the blanket and hitting them if they
Hmm.
move. They literally lure them, tempt them with a toy or something that's totally age appropriate for a tiny baby. It's small baby to want to grab because that's developmentally appropriate. You want to grab at the
Hmm.
toy, and they swat them to keep them on the blanket.
Right. Yeah, they try and move and get off the blanket to get this toy that they really want, and they get hit. Again, it is obscene and ridiculous, and I'm sure it's illegal, but
Oh,
hey, let's hope. But for Jim Bob, he laws don't apply to him apparently. I can't I can't say enough about this guy, and in my opinion, how disgusting he truly is. And I'm just glad that TLC took their program off the air. Now, he did run for a public office and got his butt handed to him, didn't he?
yeah, and he actually did that. That was literally right when Josh was being tried.
That's right.
The
Oh, I forgot.
audacity of this
That's
man
right. That's right.
to not hide your face in pure shame and
Mm-hmm.
crawl under a rock because of your horrifying son. And he just went, "Hey, we're in the news. I'm going to run for political office."
I'm getting attention. The camera's on me. It's got to be something good. And he got like the most ridiculous low amount of votes.
I think he lost to a woman too, which made it
Oh,
even funnier.
love that. Oh, love it. That
I
makes me
think.
so
I think he
happy.
did.
I,
Yeah.
the these arrogant people that do this to children. I mean, if they want to, do whatever weird, kinky, crazy stuff, adults behind closed doors, none of my business.
Right.
But when you abuse kids like this, and to me, this is absolutely abuse.
For sure.
And then they were put on a pedestal and presented as, like I said, quirky, fun family with traditional values. And that wasn't it at all. It wasn't it at all. And again, look at their oldest son, the jewel in the crown, if you will. And he turns out to be a pedophile, and they just won't admit it and they won't accept it.
And
Again,
I think it runs in the family. I haven't read their cousin's book. Amy Duggar King put out a book a
mhm,
few months back. I have not had a chance to read it. But what I've heard, kind of summarized, is apparently Jim Bob's father, who we already knew was an alcoholic and not a good father, but
right.
apparently he had some possibly perverted predilections as well, according to Amy.
Really?
But I haven't read it, so I don't know. But I think she has made some not so thinly veiled sort of accusations about
Mhm,
him, and that even like growing up, that like her mom, who was that guy's daughter,
mhm.
Jim Bob's only sibling, the sister, that she wouldn't let Amy like be alone with him, things like that.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah,
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. That
yeah,
actually makes sense.
yeah.
It really does. Well, Little Texan, I can't thank you enough. You do this so we don't have to keep track of Josh Duggar. You are the best. When I got your text this morning, I'm like,
Horrified.
thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got to have Josh Duggar on, and I mean the information about him, and I don't want to have to look it up. So you are my hero, my dear. Just keep it coming. Keep us posted on everything, and yeah, just keep coming back and say hi to us. Check in with Chad if you can. Okay.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. And again, I really do appreciate it, Little Texan. You're the best. You take care now.
Thank you, Tricia.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. I get so angry, Stacy, thinking about this guy. I really do. Because when you go back and look at the evidence, I mean, like I said, they had him. There's no question. And as awful as he is, it would be horrible to admit that this was your child. But, admit it and try and get him help and keep him away from kids and, do what you have to do. But they're going to want him to come out and he's going to be around kids. And I just hope that they are able to somehow control it in the year 2032. And yeah. And it doesn't surprise me that he's trying to blame the prison system for not filing this form that he was supposed to file. And again, thank you, Little Texan, for she's so smart and she's so good. She keeps up on all of this. And yeah, he's blaming, it's the prison system's fault. Just a little bit that Little Texan looked into it. It's all him. It's all him just completely screwing it up and trying to blame everybody else. Never take responsibility for the things that you have done. That is what Jim Bob apparently seems to be teaching his children. It makes me sick. Okay. I need to calm down. I think are my cheeks turning red? I think they are. That means my blood pressure is going. So, Stacy, let me check in with you. How's life? Tell me what's going on.
Not much, really.
Okay, your husband doing good?
Yeah, he's doing good. And
Good.
I was going over more Richens documents today, and the one where Eric's sister filed something against Kouri, and it goes into the money, her falsely getting money and all that stuff. Lots of money and stuff in the documents. I'm like, holy cow. And I know they talked about it yesterday, so that's why I was reading it. And
yeah,
wow.
I mean, yeah, she was a monster. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it's good. It made me think of the cases like Barbara Steger is an example of women that would go around, get all this money from places and then kill their husband when he was figuring it out.
Right. Figuring it all out, figuring that they are not paying the bills. They're getting all these loans. They're doing all these nefarious things. And then the husband's like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? And boom, all of a sudden they're dead. Yeah. I mean, she's a piece of work. And the prosecution yesterday did a great job. It was pretty involved and kind of complicated, but it really did show that Kouri Richins is just a piece of work. Oh my gosh. And today, her boyfriend, I mean, he's got to be humiliated. I'm sure. Hold on. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt the live stream here, but Authy needs his little sheep to be thrown. You know how that is. His little lamb.
Lamb chop.
I'm sorry, what?
It's lamb chop.
Oh, it is lamb chop, isn't it?
Sherry Lewis,
yeah. Don't hurt lamb chop, please. Please don't hurt lamb chop. But this poor guy, I shouldn't say poor guy. He knew what he was getting into. He certainly didn't think he'd be getting into this. And I know he didn't think that these text messages would be read, and he was mortified and he was crying. And we'll read some of the text messages. I'm just going to randomly pick them out here, but we have some good video to play as well. And then we're going to play that phone call a little bit later on here when we get done with the Richens case. But let's talk a little bit about Guthrie. Again, shock. Hello, we're so stunned that the glove that they found, a mile and a half away is not connected to the case at all. They did get the DNA back. They said it belonged to a restaurant worker who has nothing to do with this case. Now that was such a long shot. you know, when I first read about the glove in the Guthrie case, and if you're not sure what this is, they found some gloves about 1.5 miles away, and they were testing one of them. It was a blue glove. And they were testing it to see if it matched the DNA that was found at the house. And I remember reading the article like twice going, well, what am I missing? Why in the world would they think that this glove, 1.5 miles away, amongst a bunch of other gloves, why would they think it was connected? There was nothing to connect it to the case. It was a piece of you know, thrown off like a piece of garbage, you know, just like something that was thrown out a window. Now I'm glad they tested it. Don't get me wrong, but I thought I was missing something. Just, I guess, desperate for anything. And why not test it? And maybe it was a long shot. I'm glad they took that long shot, but again, not a surprise. In fact, I have the picture of the glove right here. Let me show it to you. Or I did. Whoops, hold on. Just let me grab it here really quickly.
Well, you know, they find a glove anywhere. I mean, it was a couple miles away or almost 3 miles away, but not to test something like that, would think would be remiss, you know, since
Well,
you'd
no,
be
and I
desperate
get
for
it.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I do get it, but I just, again, just not surprised at all. I thought there would be more
Oh,
to
yeah.
it than that. I really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's
Can you
not.
imagine the restaurant worker's surprise?
Oh, I can't even.
I was thinking
I,
about that earlier. Yeah.
yeah, the knock on his door that he got,
Mhm.
I'd be like, uh-oh. I mean, I would be just, first of all, he's going to have to explain why it's sitting there, you know, that far away from the house in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert, basically. Did he throw it out the window? Is it part of garbage that just accidentally got blown off a truck? Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Deb, stop children. What's that? Oh,
That's
stop children. What's that sound? Yeah,
song.
that's what it's from the song. That's what I've heard, that that there's gloves everywhere. You know, I just never thought that littering gloves was an issue, was a problem. But
Mhm.
apparently it is, and that really surprised me. I just want to show you the picture of the glove
Oh,
here. It's right on the
and
front
Kelly
page.
J says it was across the street from the restaurant, they said.
Okay, well that
Mm.
makes sense. That There it is, right there. It's on the front page of Websleuths.com. And yeah, I mean, okay, that's again, why not test it? Because you never know where a clue is going to go, and I understand that. I do. I mean, at this point, try something, you know, try something. But Brian Enton does another great, a great video here where he talks about how the Cajun Navy has come into town, but they don't want to start searching unless the sheriff says it's okay. Well, he's not given that he's okay to do that. So we're gonna hear about that. Oh gosh, it's just, again, and in this video, in one of his videos, I don't think we're going to play this one, but in this particular video, Brian Enton says, I can't believe, basically, I'm saying this, it's day 32. And the day Brian Enton leaves, that's going to be a sad day, because then, you know, we're not going to be getting daily updates, at least not any like Brian's. So, but he's still there. He is still there. And there are people saying, oh, something's going to break. Something's going to break. They just know it's going to break. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I never in a bazillion years thought we would be here more than a month later. When this happened, I thought we'd be 48 hours out and we would find Nancy and that would be it. So Joseph Scott Morgan, I do want to play something that he said, which was really interesting. He talks a little bit about elder abuse. Now, when I think of elder abuse, I think of either a family member, number one, or a worker, right? And he's talking about, you know, people targeting the elderly because they're elderly. And he was wondering if this guy targeted her because she was elderly and he could overcome her, you know, just overcome her, you know, quickly because she was elderly. Anyway, I'm going to play a video of him on News Nation here in just a little bit. He was on CC tonight. Okay, who's CC? I don't know who CC is. Just call me Kim. Who's CC? Oh, is it Court TV?
I don't know, but I think she's trying to be discreet. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Because I don't know initials. So anyway, I'll tell you what, let me find this video here really quickly. And you can go to websleuths.com and we have a Nancy Guthrie forum. Now the forum is different than the discussion thread, because what that means is you can start different types of discussions about Nancy and the evidence when you have a full forum on a particular case. We used to do forums all the time for every case because there weren't, thousands and thousands of cases. But now we have the Nancy Guthrie forum. So you can put up threads about the evidence, about your theory. And I have a thread about Joseph Scott Morgan discusses his theory. Do you agree? So I want to watch this here. Let me get to it right here. And this is from News Nation. And this is from, let me see, Jesse Weber. That's I thought it was Jesse. So let's watch this. This is from a little bit earlier. And this is actually about almost 24 hours ago, but it's a very good theory, very interesting to say the least, from our good friend Joseph Scott Morgan. Let me get the share button here. And here we go, my darlings. Sit back and watch.
Know about those men that showed up at Nancy's house today? Well, we don't know much. I don't believe they were law enforcement based on what we saw, but they went around the side of the house. There were 3 of them. What was most...
This happened yesterday. Remember the men that showed up? That's what they're talking about, trying to figure out who they are. So here we go.
Interesting is they seemed especially interested in the front door, which is, of course, where, we saw the blood drops. And then they opened the door, they went in. There was some speculation that they could be locksmiths, although I'm not sure that really makes any sense. But they were here for about an hour, and then they were gone, Jesse.
Brian, I want your take on what the sheriff had to say about getting definitely closer to a break. But let me just get to Joseph real quick. Joseph, I understand you might have 2 theories about what may have happened to Nancy that we might not be thinking of.
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, I think that, going with what Brian is saying about the blood deposition there in the front at the door, I think that is significant because this is an act of violence. And, we have confirmed, or they have confirmed at least, that is Mrs. Guthrie's blood that was deposited there. I have my own thoughts about the nature of the deposition and what it kind of stems from. And that was a sudden taking, if you will. The one shot there where you have that kind of expirated blood that is in that large patch. You've got the larger elements of blood there. That expirated blood, which I think are the tiny little dots right there, that's evidence of somebody probably coughing or sneezing out blood deposition from right there. And this blood is not indicative of, say, having a cut on your hand and it just kind of free falling.
And then you have this other idea about her age and her being a vulnerable victim.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys realize how many cases I've worked over the course of my career in Atlanta and New Orleans that involved a ransom? 0. The cases I have worked, elder abuse. I've had people that have taken advantage of the elderly because they knew that they had money and they bum rush them into their house and they snatch them out of there, or they do terrible things like murder inside of the house.
I was muted.
She's
Sorry,
a much more
guys.
valuable target to them if they had foreknowledge of whose mother she was. That doesn't take a deep dive here. And so if they think that they can get anything out of her, so I think that comes to local knowledge. Who knows this? Is this somebody's, grandson that might be in the neighborhood that has some knowledge that's been talking about this for a protracted period of time?
Right.
I wonder if it's gang related. I wonder what they're pressing relative to the gang associations in Pima County, because this smacks of this relative to targeting her, seeking her out.
And let me, Brian, I'll give you a chance to respond to that since you've been on the ground and know this case better than anybody else. But also, I wanted your response to where the sheriff says they're definitely closer to finding a suspect. But I mentioned before all the seemingly gaps in this investigation, or at least what they know.
Yeah, and he's been saying that for a while. There are a few other things he said today that really stood out to me. One, he was asked about that new surveillance video of the car from 2.5 miles away. He said that it is part of the investigation, but he said that they are looking at hundreds of thousands of cars, which my jaw kind of dropped. Like hundreds of thousands. How could that possibly be? I don't know if it's from traffic cameras, but that wasn't really encouraging to hear him say that. The other interesting thing was in terms of the backpack that the suspect was wearing that they've been saying was bought at Walmart all along, and we know they were going through the Walmart sales records. Today, he said that they believe the suspect may have gotten it secondhand. So he didn't necessarily buy the backpack himself from Walmart, which is something we haven't heard the sheriff say before.
Brian, real quick, about 40 seconds to Joseph's theory. If someone bum rushed her, jumped in, maybe was trying to get something from the house, do you know if anything was stolen from her house?
Not that we know of, no. And I heard what Joseph was saying about the blood. One thing I've thought about is I think it may be an indication that she was alive when she left the house, because if she was already dead, you would think, I mean, I hate to talk like this, but you'd think they would have wrapped her up. Or why would there be those blood spots coming if she was already dead? So I think it's a sign that she was alive when she left.
Gentlemen, I wish we had more time to talk about this because there's could be a number of theories we go through. But Brian Enton, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you both.
Yeah, what I did was I stopped the video, and I apologize. I was muted, but I said, did you hear that? Joseph Scott Morgan worked thousands of cases. How many involved ransom? 0. How many involved elder abuse? A lot. And by elder abuse, again, he's not talking about a worker that knows the person or a family member. He's talking about, hey, I'm going to target that person because they're elderly and I can take them out easily.
They're vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable. That's what he's saying. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Lin Jen, too. But yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't the sheriff said for 32 days we're really close to a breakthrough, or we're really close to getting a suspect, or we're really close to this, or we're really close to that? Hasn't he been saying that every day? I'm being rhetorical. I think he has. And again, you know, I know people are mad at him, and I just think he wasn't ready for this big behemoth of whatever this machine was that came down on him. And I think he would give anything to find Nancy now. You know, it's not like they're not trying to find her. I think they're trying everything they can. And like Brian said, when he said they're looking at hundreds of thousands of cars, it's like, what? You know, I mean, picture that. Try and picture that many cars.
Right.
Are they looking for a specific one? Is it like the one that they towed the first 2 weeks from that one guy? What was it? It was a white car, and it was the
Range Rover.
The Range Rover. Thank you. Are they all either look? It seems like they could just go to the DMV and see how many white Range Rovers there are and see which ones are close by, address-wise. I don't know. Oh, God. Does anybody, I asked this last night, and we got a couple of responses, but does anybody have a solid idea of what they think happened to Nancy? Like, here's what I think happened because of A, B, and C. I can't think of anything. When we had Lil Texan on here earlier, I'm like, oh, come on, you know, what do you think? What do you think? I was hoping she'd say, well, here's what I think happened. And she's like me. She's like, I think maybe this or this or this, or I don't know. Oh, I just don't know. It's making me crazy. Yeah. Let's see. Good Jane 54. That's there. I don't know if that's been cleared up or not. The guy next door took part in a big gem show. I wonder if they got the wrong house. That could be.
Good.
Because that gem show, I mean, that's lots of money. Maybe they got the wrong house. They thought, hey, we're at the gem show guy's house, you know?
Yeah, I go to those shows. So yeah.
Yeah. I went to one in New Mexico once, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, so that, again, here's the thing. Any theory is possible if it's plausible. Because, like I said, imagine if John Hinckley escaped people after he shot President Reagan. We never in a million years would have thought to check with Jodie Foster to see if she had a stalker that was maybe trying to shoot Reagan to impress her. It would never enter our minds. it might be something like that that we would never even understand until we catch them. But how in the hell did he escape the sheriff and the FBI and people looking for everything and searching their cameras? This guy, again, he must be magical. He must be the David Copperfield of crime. He can just disappear. I don't understand. Do not understand. Yeah, I think what they meant by 100,000 cars, not that there was 100,000 cars that night. I think they're looking through 100,000 cars to find one particular car that was there that night. That's what I think they meant.
I was thinking that it meant like the same amount, but like they were going through each car to see if there was any kind of connection to anything. You know, so going through like CCTV or traffic cameras to see, okay, this car was here then, who are they, you know, etc.
Right. Are they? And again, I think there's been a lot of profilers on talking about the behavior of this person. And I think they probably got it right. He's probably acted really weird after it happened, you know, very jumpy. Just you would notice a difference in their behavior.
Right. Yeah.
And there's got to be somebody out there that I wonder if there's somebody out there who saw the video, knows a person, and then hears that the person's behavior has probably changed, and this person that they know, their behavior probably changed, and they just don't want to admit it. And so they're not going to call it in. I get it. I get it. You don't want to call in an innocent person and have their lives upended. But damn, there's got to be something out there. It's making me crazy. Let's see here. Kelly J says, yep, this time no benefit. If the doubt for this sheriff, he is a problem. So I don't know, guys. I just don't know. And I keep saying that I should smack myself every time I say, I don't know. It's just driving me nuts. It really is. I talk about it every night. I usually talk every day with you, Stacy, about it. I talk to other people about it. I read about it. I obsess about it. I watch videos about it. And I just I can't figure it out. I'll tell you what, let's play this one video I have here. Let me grab it really quickly.
And I agree with Kelly J. You know, we don't have enough facts or information to really form a solid theory because there's nothing.
Yes, you are absolutely 100% right. No question. We don't have enough information. And again, what I would like, and I've said this before, 200 to 300,000 times. How's it working for you, Mr. Sheriff? This way of holding all the information back. How is that going? Just a thought. Just a thought. Okay, I'm going to play a clip from Brian Ench. Good Lord, I said Brian Enton, and I threw in the Cajun Navy into his name. I almost said Brian Enchington. Brian Enton. It's a clip here, and this is talking about the DNA setback and the glove and the Cajun Navy and all of that. Actually, I think I have another clip I want to play. Hang on. Can you just take over the chat for just a moment while I grab this other clip real quick?
Right. And then Deborah asks, I know Brian Enton has to move on. Will it be soon? Since a month in? It's a good question. How long
good question.
Are they going to stay around? Let me see.
I don't know.
Island Girl says, I think it's revenge.
Could be. No reason why it couldn't be.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason why it couldn't be.
Yeah, I have a feeling that what they're doing a lot of, which is going to take a lot of time because there's a lot, and digital data,
Yes.
geofencing, and then, you know, tower pings, who hit this tower in this area at this time, and it's going to be a lot of cross-referencing and all that, I think. So I think it's a lot of stuff like that going on.
Explain what geofencing is, please.
Oh my gosh, how to explain it? Like, in the area, digital stuff in that a specific area. I don't know how to explain it. You know how you know what something means, but explaining it's different.
I know. Well, see, I mean, I've heard several different explanations, and I'm hoping to find somebody that can give me a good, solid explanation to where it's easy to understand.
Let's
So
see if there's a.
I'm going to look that up here. I'm trying to find this one damn clip that I had, and it was really good, and it was 5 minutes, and I can't
Okay.
find it.
Uh-oh. Now, here's a good way to explain it. I had to look it up. How it's a location-based technology that creates a virtual boundary around a real-world geographic area using GPS, cellular data, or Wi-Fi. So, when a mobile device or something is in the area, it triggers actions like
Right.
push
Okay. Right.
notifications, alerts.
Right.
Yeah. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I just know it's a way, it's in that certain area you can see the digital stuff. I just don't explain it right,
No, that sounds good to me. Afi, I'm sorry. I've got lamb chop on my arm here while I'm trying to type. You're just gonna have to hold on, honey, okay? Let me finish this. I know. You're more important, but hey.
Oh,
Gonna,
I found the perfect definition for you. Chipmunk says a
yes.
thingamabob area for your phone. There you
There you
go.
go. A thingamabob, thingamajig for the flipper dipper. That's it.
Yeah.
Here, thank you. Now I get it. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. No, it's true though. I mean, really.
It's like we do geomapping in cases. You'll map out, like, say, 3 miles from where a body was found. I think in that 3 mile radius, what's around the perpetrator most likely worked in that 3 mile radius, etc.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
But it's for digital stuff. So
Gotcha. Okay, well, we're going to play a little bit. I can't find the 5-minute clip that I was looking for, so we're going to play this. This is from Brian Enton. And again, he just does such a great job. We won't play the whole thing because I want you to go to Brian's channel. I want you to watch this whole video. I want you to be sure and subscribe to his channel, okay? But yeah, I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to stay there. Gotta hope something's going to break soon. So here we go. Hang on. And then we're going to come back and talk about Kouri Richins and talk about that phone call, and we're going to play it. So here we go, darlings. And we'll stop this as we
appreciate
go
all
along.
the support. Please click to subscribe. It really helps out the channel. It is now day 32 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, which I can't believe it's now been 32 days. Today is Wednesday. A couple of really significant developments today. We have heard more from Pima County Sheriff, Sheriff Nanos. Specifically, you guys remember the glove that was found about 2.5 miles from Nancy's house, where I am right now. The glove that we were told, in looks at least, matched the glove in the pictures, that sort of the blessing of the sheriff. And they kind of told sources that they case the DNA test here, and they have a huge amount of resources that they can call in. I mean, like dozens of canines.
Oh, hold on, let's talk about the searching
here, and they have a huge amount of resources that they can call on the DNA front. Also, you guys remember the United Cajun Navy? I interviewed one of their members last week, I think it was. They have wanted to search here, and they have a huge amount of resources that they can call in. I mean, like dozens of canines, drones with like flare and sonar. I mean, really advanced equipment, and volunteers that will come in from all over, former law enforcement. They really know how to search, from what I'm told. And I actually got my hands on their operational plan, the plan that they submitted to the sheriff's office, which is very detailed. I mean, it's like more than 40 pages. I'm going to go through it with you in this episode, and then also sort of ask the question of why the sheriff is not allowing them to search, and they don't want to do it until they have sort of the blessing of the sheriff, and they kind of want the sheriff to not be in charge of it, but they want to work with the sheriff. They want to search areas that the sheriff recommends. They don't want to step on any toes, but so far the sheriff has not given them the blessing. So I'm going to go through the operational plan, and then I'm also going to talk with a sergeant from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, who I've talked to before. He's the president of the union there, so he can speak freely, unlike a lot of other people who work there, obviously, about his thoughts on the case right now. how the staffing on the case has changed. He's going to explain that to me. And then his reaction also to what he thinks about whether or not the United Cajun Navy should be allowed to search for Nancy Guthrie. So I'm going to get into all of that in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. Hey guys, so I'm here outside Nancy Guthrie's house, and I wanted to go over the latest updates with you today. First of all, I mentioned the glove. Remember, there was all this attention on that glove that was found 2.5 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. And what was interesting is they said initially, investigators did, that it matched the glove that was worn in the surveillance photos from the person who was at the front door of Nancy's house. So I was always a little skeptical of it just because there's been so many gloves all over the place. But now we have officially gotten word from the sheriff that the glove, the DNA testing on the glove came back, and the glove is not connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. In fact, the DNA on the glove connected back to a restaurant worker, to a local restaurant worker that they have cleared and say has absolutely nothing to do with the case. Which again does not surprise me because there have been so many of these black gloves all over the place that we have seen. People just drop them all over. They're used for all sorts of different things. As I've told you guys, chefs use them. People working on houses use them. Hairdressers use them. They're really, really common. So when I heard about this one found 2.5 miles away, I was skeptical that it was actually going to be connected to the case. Also, just because if you think about it, would the suspect really take the gloves off and just toss them off on the side of the road? And this specific glove was found right on the side of the road, on a very busy road. So would the suspect have really done that? Again, I was skeptical from the beginning, and now it's confirmed that that glove, the DNA testing has come back, and it was not connected to the case, and it's this restaurant worker. The sheriff says they're still waiting on other DNA results. Remember, there's been some frustration because the DNA is not great that they collected. It's mixed is the term that they use, so it is harder to test. In fact, it's even been hard to put into the CODIS database because they've got all sorts of technical terminology, but it's mixed. So it's taking longer than they would have hoped to get all the DNA testing back. Hopefully they'll be able to put it into a genetic genealogy database because that could really be key here. I've talked about it before, similar to what we saw in the Brian Koberger case, where they put it into these databases and they can find relatives of people, even distant relatives, second, third cousins, aunts, uncles, and then try to zero in on a suspect that way. So that all remains ongoing. At the Florida lab where the sheriff sent the DNA. Remember, the sheriff decided to send the DNA to the lab that they're used to working with in Florida. FBI at one point wanted some of it to go to Quantico, but it is at the Florida lab, and we're going to have to wait and see if they can work it out and hopefully get the DNA from inside the house, make it usable enough to be able to test it up against some of these genetic genealogy databases. I'm going to talk to Sergeant Aaron Cross in a second. Again, he's with the Pima County Deputies Organization, and he's going to go into more detail about this next topic, but I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of the headline here. So remember, we heard from the sheriff's office that they were refocusing resources, which was kind of hard to understand what that meant. So what Sergeant Cross tells me is that it is going to be 4 detectives and a sergeant who are now going to be moved to the FBI office in Tucson to be part of a task force. So 4 detectives and a sergeant, so 5 people from the Pima County Sheriff's Office will be part of an FBI task force actually working out of the FBI building in Tucson, I'm told. Before, it was pretty much almost every single detective, I'm told, in the Pima County Sheriff's Office that was working the Nancy Guthrie case. That obviously was not sustainable because there are other crimes in Pima County that have sort of just been put on the back burner. And so they couldn't have all the resources of the sheriff's office forever going towards this case. So now it's going to be that group who's going to be devoted solely to the Nancy Guthrie case, and they will be working out of the FBI office, which it seems like they're collaborating well together now. Remember earlier on, there were questions about whether they were sharing information. The FBI, through sources we have, complained about, collaboration with the local detectives. But that seems to be working out now. And especially now that they're going to be out of the Tucson FBI office, it seems like they're going to be collaborating well together. And some people have sort of been like, oh my gosh, like this is terrible, less resources. But I'm not sure I would really look at it that way. I think it's going to be a more focused approach now, that they have this task force and that there are 4 detectives and a sergeant just working on Nancy Guthrie, plus everyone from the FBI. And remember, there's a ton more FBI agents also working behind the scenes. There are still many on the ground here in Tucson, and then there's a whole group of them that went back to Phoenix, working out of their Phoenix command center. And remember, the FBI has said that they're going through thousands of hours of video, which I always suspected was probably traffic cams. And then the sheriff said that they're looking at hundreds of thousands of cars, which I told you guys yesterday. So it does make sense that that's the video that they are looking at. And before I get to my interview with Sergeant Cross, I want to talk a little bit about the United Cajun Navy. You remember they are here. They at least have one representative here who's trying to work with the sheriff to get the sheriff to approve their plan to help them search for Nancy Guthrie. And so far, I am told that the sheriff has not signed off on that. And the United Cajun Navy doesn't want to start their search until they have the sheriff's blessing. So,
and that, you guys, that's a good thing, because you don't want like these rogue people coming in, and if the law enforcement won't say, yeah, go ahead and search, and they won't give them their permission, they go and search anyway, it could cause all kinds of problems. So I'm really glad to hear that the Cajun Navy is not going to just start searching unless the sheriff says, yes, you can go ahead and search. But again, I'm talking about bigger search organizations, there's a lot of smaller, just groups of people going in and searching. I get that. I get it because people just want to help. But I was really glad to hear that. That speaks to me about the Cajun Navy's organization, that they are waiting for the sheriff's permission. I don't understand why the sheriff won't give permission, but let's see what Brian Enton has to say about this. Here we go.
So I got a copy of the operational plan that the United Cajun Navy submitted to the sheriff's office, and it's 41 pages, and it's really detailed, a lot that I didn't expect. I want to kind of go through some of it with you. You can see it says tactical operational packet, search for Nancy Guthrie, and all the different organizations that they work with, presented to Pima County Sheriff's Office. And then it says purpose, provide structured search support under PCSO authority, operate under PCSO command and control, evidence preservation priority, no independent operational authority. So they seem to really be trying to make the point that they do not want to just do their own thing. They really want the sheriff to sign off and give them some focus. Mission objectives, systematic ground search operations, thermal UAV reconnaissance, HRD canine, land and water, track, trail, scent specific canine. And then it says very clearly, again, authority having jurisdiction, PCSO. So they want the sheriff's office to remain in charge, obviously. Supporting agency, United Cajun Navy, and then operational resources, thermal drone operations, HRD land and water canine teams, track, trail, scent specific canines, ground search volunteers. So they can really mobilize a lot of people. Search strategy, phase 1, intelligence review, POA mapping, phase 2, drone sweep and canine deployment, phase 3, grid search and reassessment. They've got heat mitigation, all different in terms of safety and risk management. They have a whole plan. Desert terrain awareness. It goes on and on.
Guys, I'm going to fast forward here because, again, this is really interesting, and I'm putting the link in chat so you can watch it and you can describe it. But I want to get to the interview that he did with this gentleman right here. So let me back it up. And here we go.
I thought was interesting, though, was media protocol. So I think they're trying to make media interviews and sort of speak out freely. The United Cajun Navy wants to do. They want specific permission from the sheriff, and the sheriff has not given it. So I want you to hear my interview with Sergeant Aaron Cross. Again, he's with the Pima County Deputies Organization. He is a current working sergeant at the sheriff's office, but he's also the union president, so he can do media interviews and sort of speak out freely without fear of getting in trouble or anything like that. So this is what Sergeant Cross told me. I just wanted to start by asking you about the resources you know, we know that there's been like a shuffling of resources, but they've been kind of vague in their description. Do you know how many detectives are still working on the Nancy Guthrie case?
Yeah, from what I was told from other detectives, it's a 4-man group with a sergeant, so I think 5 total, if I remember correctly, that have been moved over to the FBI here in Tucson, and they'll be working out of the FBI office as kind of a task force with those agents to try and continue to work the case and work through, I assume, all the tips and whatever evidence is left. And then the remainder of the detectives that were kind of working the case ancillary, they've been tasked with just finishing up what they're doing and then going back to their regular duties.
Is that a good thing?
It's hard to say. You know, everybody wishes that we had some hot leads that we're, you know, the whole department's working, trying to run down to solve this quickly. So the fact that we're reducing the amount of manpower working it, I mean, it's hard to say what kind of sign that signals.
Is the task force a good sign? I mean, because I know there was we reported on issues between the sheriff and the FBI early on, but now that they're working on one task force, is that positive?
I hope so. I hope it's a more collaborative effort with the federal agency, you know, helping us out. I think that's better if they're under the same roof, working together side by side. That's certainly better than one side working out of our area and then the FBI working out of their offices. So I hope that helps in some of the communication and collaboration.
Are the detectives still working on it experienced, do you know?
I don't know exactly who was sent over there. I hope so. We have experienced detectives that have a lot of homicide experience. They just weren't assigned to the homicide unit. So obviously everybody's preference would be to grab those guys and send them over to utilize their expertise, because, you know, expertise and experience is hands down the most important thing that a law enforcement officer has. And particularly in tough cases like this, that expertise is just priceless.
And it came out today that, I don't know if you saw the glove 2.5 that was found 2.5 miles away is actually, the DNA came back to like a restaurant worker who has nothing to do with the case. Yeah. I guess I wasn't really that surprised by that. These gloves, to me, there's been so many.
Yeah. It's given the proximity to the home, it was always kind of a long shot. You know, I think last time we spoke, I said we were hoping that we would get lucky, but I think everybody thought that it was quite a long shot that would be related to the case. So it's a dead end, but not certainly a dead end for the case. The investigators will keep grinding away.
How are the deputies feeling overall? Because obviously you're the president, you have a good gauge on that.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough to say. The deputies, as I mentioned previously in our first interview, they weren't impacted as much. Some of them were assigned to the home on that security post. The detectives, I'm sure they have a big backlog of cases that they now have to tackle. You know, they had a couple weeks where the Guthrie case was occupying pretty much all their time, working 18-hour days. So now they're kind of back to business as usual, but I'm sure they're on standby in the event that there's a big break in the case that they need to go back to the Guthrie case to work it. So
the sheriff has been kind of quiet overall after doing kind of a media blitz. What do you make of that? You think that's a good thing, or?
It's hard to say. I think some of that has to do with how his first 2 press conferences were received. He took a lot of heat, a lot of criticism for that. And I think he just feels a little bit more comfortable with the more intimate one-on-one conversations with select media.
How has he been? Like, I mean, I guess you haven't talked to him directly, but.
No, he and I have a very icy relationship.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. So it's hard to say. Yeah. I couldn't answer for it.
Did you get any heat for talking to us last time, or?
No, not yet. I imagine if that's going to happen, it'll happen probably after the media leaves and they can refocus from the Guthrie case to all of this.
I guess they're distracted now by everything.
Yeah. It's taken up a lot of the bandwidth.
Let me show you. I wanted to show you this this operational plan that we got. Let me find it real quick. It's interesting because it's really in depth. And this is from the United Cajun Navy. And so they've been trying to get the sheriff's permission, which I think they could try to do it on their own, but they want to do it the right way.
Sure.
To search, and haven't really got a response from what we're told. But I just wanted to see what you thought of this. I mean, they have 25 canines, thermal UAVs, track trail specific canines. And they're very clear that it would all be in collaboration with the sheriff, that the sheriff would be, in charge, that they wouldn't talk to the media without, no independent press releases, all media approved by PCSO, family sensitivity priority. I mean, they've done this other places before. And it's, like I said, it's really detailed. To go to all their insurance and it's in depth. It goes for 41 pages.
Yeah.
Are you surprised the sheriff isn't taking them up on this?
I am a little bit. There's certainly a lot of desert area that they could be useful, I think. It's just my opinion. It's ultimately his call, his decision. But we have a lot of desert area west of town that a lot of bad things happen out there. A lot of evidence gets disposed of. I think that could be helpful. We had a missing person's case. We had a young girl taken out of her home some years ago, and I think she was ultimately, if I remember correctly, found out off west end of Aver Valley, just a few hundred yards from the road. Her body, unfortunately, and so I feel like if the sheriff is uncomfortable with them, working the area close into the home, there's certainly other areas that perhaps they could be beneficial.
Sorry. I was muted. My apologies. I'm muting it because of this guy right here. Okay. What I was saying was great interview. Everybody, please go to Brian Enton's channel and hit that subscribe button. Okay. And before you go to his channel, for goodness sake, oh my flipping heck, make sure that the subscribe button is punched on this channel too. Okay. I'm trying to get to 50,000 and we're stuck. We are stuck at 48,933. If we could get to 49,000, maybe in the next couple of days, that would be so great. And once we hit 50,000, I will tell you why it's so important to me to hit 50,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. We are not monetized. So we would greatly appreciate it. And double check to make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube has this habit of just unsubscribing you from places for no reason. So please double check. Let me put Brian Enton's interview up here one more time. He is an amazing, amazing guy. So there we go.
I don't know what's worse. You were muted, and then I'm going, you're muted, and I was muted. So you couldn't hear me.
Between the two of us. I just keep forgetting because it's so noisy around here while I'm playing a video, with this and the cat here and sometimes Scrappy Joe gets into it. So I'm always like trying to make sure that nothing is interfering with the video I'm playing. So I do apologize. It wouldn't be my live stream if it wasn't muted 40 to 50 times per show, right? I mean, really. So anyway, yeah. So let's talk about Kouri Richins, the boyfriend, paramour, as Laura Matthias calls it. I felt bad for him. He had his head down today, and they were showing these text messages. They weren't reading them. They're letting the jury read them. And I haven't even had a chance to read them all, but I'm going to read you from KSL what happened, and then we'll show you. I want to show you what he did today in court. And we'll read some of these text messages, and then we're going to play that phone call. We're going to play it right at the end of the show. So, but before we do that, I want to do something really quickly. Hang on. Othram text Bug Nugget the First, Authy for short. Can we take a break? Can we take a break from trying to destroy Lamb Chop, please? Just a minute. I don't think we can. I don't think we're allowed. Oh well. We'll try. Okay. Speaking of subscribing, this is going to be so cool. Othram has their own YouTube channel now. It's called Othram Studios, and they're going to be uploading amazing Othram stories. They have so many stories about cases that they've helped solve, how they work them, how it affects them, as human beings. I mean, these scientists and workers and researchers, it can really get to them. So I've just put the link in chat to the Othram YouTube channel. Please, please, please go there and subscribe. Before they put their first story up, I would love them to have like thousands of new subscribers. I'm going to play their trailer right now really quick. It's only a minute and a half long, so we're going to play that really quickly. And I'm going to mute myself for this minute and a half, so I hope I remember to unmute when we are done. So here we go.
Where 50% of murders go unsolved. It sounds terrifying.
We're helping build technology that's introducing a seismic shift in how criminal justice works. If there's DNA evidence, there's a good chance that the case can be cracked, that the identity can be restored. And that's what we do here at Othram.
We bring hope to hopeless cases.
Unsolved crime is really a choice. We wanted to start bringing some of the stories that we've uncovered as we work these cases with law enforcement to everyone.
Showing the cases that are resolving that were previously unsolvable.
We want to tell these stories and deliver them directly to you, which is why we started our own channel.
They located a female who was deceased. She was naked. She had no identification with her.
We met with the medical examiner's office in Harris County and attempted to recover some evidence.
From that point, the case went cold.
I think it was so horrible of a death. We have young kids, right? And so seeing a teenager in that state is devastating. I just remember my husband was no longer the same at all.
I don't believe that anybody other than Othram has been able to get DNA the way that they extracted DNA in this case.
We want people to know what's possible.
David and Kristen Middleman, I love them. They are truly amazing. And it doesn't surprise me that there have been a case in particular where it affected David Middleman so much that he wasn't the same. That doesn't surprise me. They are great people, and they work hard 24 hours a day, just trying to help these families. And amazing. Just, they're so smart. I don't even know how they do it. So please go to their channel, and I'll put the link in the description, and hit that subscribe button over there as well. Okay. Okay. Wow. There was a lot to go over today. It was a excuse me. It was a crazy day in court. And let me get this, this article from KSL really quickly and read it here, because again, you know, her boyfriend, Paramore, the guy she was, you know, doing the getting down with, basically, he didn't know. I don't think he had any idea that she was capable of doing this. That's just the impression I get. So let me grab this really quickly here. Richens trial. The boyfriend testifies about text messages, relationship after Eric Richens' death. Robert Josh Grossman, Kouri Richins' boyfriend, in the months before and after her husband's death, testified about messages and conversations they shared during her jury trial today. Grossman read through many text messages verifying they were between him and Richens. At times, he put his head down or wiped away tears as their private conversations were displayed for the public audience. Less than a month before her husband's death, according to the text, Richens asked him, "If I was divorced right now and asked you to marry me tomorrow, would you? Or you would?" And Grossman responds, "Yes, I'm in love with you. Of course I would." A few days after that, she texted that she wants a future with him. "If he could just go away and you could just be here, life would be perfect," she told Grossman. Grossman said he met Kouri Richins in South Carolina around 2017 and helped her flip homes. The romantic relationship started around 2020 when he moved to Utah to help her flip homes. He said he would live in the home she was flipping, and she would occasionally pay him. He said he loved her and said he thinks she loved him as well. Many of the texts shown to jurors discussed challenges of their relationship. Kouri Richins apologized for not having time to spend with him. "I really enjoy my relationship and love for you, but you're right. You're right. We both know this love triangle can't go on forever. You don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I can't expect you to sit around for the day that I can't wait. I can't expect you to sit around and wait for the day the trigger gets pulled, Richens said in a December 2021 message. Richens talked to Grossman about purchasing homes in Park City and said it was a huge deal, and said she grew up scrubbing toilets for rich people in Park City and told herself she would own those homes one day. On January 9th, 2022, Richens asked Grossman if he had done drugs besides marijuana and how recently. Kouri Richins is accused of fatally poisoning her husband on March 4th, 2022. She is also accused of slipping drugs to him into his food and making him sick on February 14th, 2022. Grossman confirmed they had made plans to spend the day together on Valentine's Day. Kouri Richins was texting Grossman the week her husband died and he said they had plans to meet up that day, Friday, for brunch to celebrate signing the closing documents on a mansion. She told him a few days earlier, "Can I try Friday? Give me a few days. Hang in there until then, please." Grossman said he never got the impression that meant Eric Richens would be out of the picture by Friday. At 5:51 p.m., the day before Eric Richens died, Grossman texted, "I will happily take any bit of time I get with you. But if we're going to celebrate, I want to celebrate, blow up balloons, champagne. I want to be there when the news comes in, seeing and hearing your reaction, waiting to pounce on you with the hugs and kisses, the confetti, and the music." It took a while for Kouri Richins to respond promptly, prompting Grossman to say, "Don't be mad." Around 8:30 p.m., Kouri Richins texted, "I'm not mad at you at all. Just haven't had a second to text. Give me a few, love you." They didn't text again until the following morning when he asked what was going on. She eventually texted, "Eric passed away, and talk later." Later, she told him they thought he died from an aneurysm. Grossman testified that about 2 weeks after Eric Richens' death, they went into the Uinta Mountains and talked about his death for the first time. He said she did not seem happy. He said she did not seem happy he was gone, but she seemed like she was grieving. "We sat there and talked for quite a while. I have never seen her that way, obviously, and it was a heavy conversation, and I'm not used to that with her. She's not used to being open like that," he said. "She asked if I had ever killed anybody. She asked me now. It made me feel," or something along those lines, and I answered her. He said at the time, he did not for a moment think Eric Richens was killed, let alone by Kouri Richins, and he didn't think she was involved, Grossman said. Now, the question was not surprising. He explained she was exhausted emotionally, and that it may have been a way to switch the conversation to him. The two continued dating for a few more months, but Grossman said things weren't the same after Eric Richens' death. Grossman said he was overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow after hearing she had been arrested, and reached out to Eric Richens' family, who connected with him and their private investigator. Before Grossman's testimony, jurors heard from multiple people who helped set up and distribute Eric Richens' life insurance policies. Crystal Bowman Carter, who helped Eric Richens set up a trust, said she received a call from an officer who passed her phone to Kouri Richins the day Eric Richens died. She said she explained that their home belonged in a trust and that it seemed Richens was unaware of the trust. She was livid. She was upset, and she said, "What is wrong with you people? You handed the phone back with you people and handed the phone back to the officer." A divorce attorney, Christine Miller, testified about meeting with Eric Richens in October of 2020. She said they talked about changing his estate plan and power of attorney, something that was rare for her clients. one of Kouri Richins' attorneys, Wendy Lewis, asked for a mistrial, the second mistrial the defense has requested. She said they obtained information that Carmen Lauber, so tired, who testified about providing drugs to Kouri Richins, violated her drug court agreement, and texts between her and her supervisor were disclosed. Oh my gosh. So there you go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of this video. He's not talking much, and they're just showing these text messages. Hi, Boo. Hi, sweetie. So let me grab those here really quickly. I hope Ping didn't have another show planned, because we're going late tonight, people. We are going late tonight. So let me get to my stuff. Oh, that's a loud purr. That's a very loud purr. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to play these, and I'm going to read them out loud because they're kind of hard to see on this on the screen here. So hang on. Let me share the screen. Here we go. This is Grossman on the stand, and they are showing text messages between him and Kouri. All right, so here we go. Okay, Josh Grossman. Uh-oh, was Harry mad? Mine should be super quick and a big deal. Ha ha ha. I would also appreciate that. I'm going to call. I had 22 cops searching my damn house Wednesday for 8 hours. This shit just keeps getting worse and worse. That's from, obviously, from Kouri Richins. Okay. Yeah, these are between Kouri and him. Searching your house for what? Okay, this is from Kouri Richins. The autopsy report isn't done yet, but the toxicology report came back and he had a trace of fentanyl in his system. I didn't even know what the hell that was until they showed up at my door. My attorneys are fighting it because they detained me. No reading me rights. They WRITES. Okay. I think they meant they never told me why they were at my house and what the hell they were looking for. I was like, what? WTF? They had a search warrant and everything. This is so effing ridiculous. And all the drug dogs and everything, and they didn't find a damn thing but Eric's weed gummies. Congratulations, idiots. They were so disappointed. My attorney said in order to get a search warrant, they would have to have some kind of proof of a crime was committed, whether it's drugs being sold and out of my house or me having something to do with this shit. I don't effing know, even though what the F that is. I thought it was cocaine. The detective isn't corrected me. They took all electronics out of my house, even my kids' stuff. I don't know why that's up there for 5 minutes. There we go. Eric does not do effing drugs. He ate a shit ton of edibles, 4 to 5 a week, but rarely even drank. This is absurd. And they don't even have a COD yet. Whoop. Ah, yikes. Hold on. Now that one they throw down. Okay. Don't even have a COD, cause of death yet. How can they just jump to all this bullshit before we even know, Ronnie? Ronnie swears the gummies are laced with it because it was a new pack. This is all just so freaking stupid and crazy. And then this is from Eric to Kouri. I have tons of questions, though. I'll save them for the phone call. Okay. Call you in a bit.
Sir, did there come a time after Eric Richens' death when you met up with Kouri?
Yes.
Do you recall the first time?
Yes.
About when was that?
I'd guess 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
What happened when you met up with him?
I forget where we met, but we rode up into the Uinta Mountains together. Two vehicles, I think. I can't remember. We both wound up in hers, though, in her vehicle. We sat there and talked.
Did you talk about Eric?
Yes. Yeah, that was the first opportunity to really, just, that was the first time.
Did there come a time during that discussion that Kouri Richins asked you about killing?
Do you want me to contextualize it?
Please.
So, yeah, we sat there and talked for quite a while, and I'd never seen her that way, obviously. It was a heavy conversation. And I'm not used to that with her. She's not used to being open like that. So at one point, my opinion then, probably still now, looking back, was that, she was looking for any reason. I think she was exhausted emotionally.
Okay, guys, I need to go let Boo out. I'm going to play this while I'm letting him out, and I'll be right back. Stacy, you'll have to take over if for some reason it ends, okay?
Okay.
And I think she was looking for a reason to divert the conversation away from herself, because she does that. She does that about lots of things in every normal life, and I think that's what she did. She asked me, go ahead. I'll let you ask. I know you.
Sure.
But
did she ask you a question about killing?
She did ask me yeah.
What sir did she ask?
She asked if I had ever killed anybody.
And was that specific to killed anybody while serving in Iraq?
Right.
Did you respond?
I did.
Did she ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Sir, what was that follow-up question?
She asked me how it made me feel or something along those lines. And then I answered her. I took it as not out of the normal, though, really.
Did you and Kouri Richins stay romantically involved after Eric Richens' death?
Yes.
For how long?
You'd have to look at my phones to tell me that. I'm going to guess, bless you, 6 months, maybe 8, 10. Best guess.
And then what happened?
I don't know. Just you had a falling out, disagreements. I think you know, things changed after Eric passed. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say. Things weren't the same. So I don't know if that led to us parting ways or what, but there was a lot on both of us. You know what I mean?
Understand. Thank you, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Oh, do you need to take a restroom break? May we take a restroom break? Yes. Please rise for the jury. I'm going to play it safe here. If you need to use the restroom, you can leave the courtroom. I need everybody else to just stay put until Mr. Grossman comes back into the courtroom. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I was talking this entire time and I was muted. I have officially morphed. It's so bad. But it reminds me of what Pamela Smart was, you know, dating or having an affair with Billy Flynn and telling him all these things like, you know, he's got to be gone so we can be together, or we can't be together because of this with Greg, and all this kind of like, you know, getting Billy to realize if he wants to be with her, he's got to get rid of Greg. So,
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah.
It had like 20 minutes left on it. Did it just end?
Yeah, it did. It ended. The videos popped up how they do at the end, and the guy went to the bathroom. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. Because
It
I
should
thought
still
it had...
be on your end. Yeah. What it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Ugh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so Stacy, let's talk about this phone call. Does anybody have any questions about this? I've been putting the links in chat. I felt, I mean, did you guys feel bad for him at all? I don't know.
I
What do you
did.
think, Stacy?
I
did. I did too. I don't think he thought for
Yeah.
1 second that she was going to kill him, you know?
I think she was using him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, he helped her flip houses, and then he'd stay in the house, which is a big deal when you're flipping a house, you know, having somebody stay
Yeah.
there so it doesn't get trashed and everything stolen. So he was doing a lot of work for her. And I don't think for 1 second that he thought that she would do anything. And I like the fact that they said that he reached out to Eric's family when he found out about this, you know, and felt terrible. He just felt terrible about it. And I think he's a good guy. What does everybody else think in chat here? So let's see. Kelly J says, not really, because he knew she was married, but I don't think he knew anything. I felt bad for how hard it was for him. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there were two married people having an affair, but they're adults. You know, I mean, that's their business.
Yeah.
But I don't think for 1 second he thought that she would do this to him. You know,
Mhm.
but I think it's going to come down to whether they believe the The woman that bought the drugs, if they believe that her, and if they believe that she tried to poison him on Valentine's Day too. That's going to be the problem. I don't think this is a slam dunk at all. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the Valentine's Day one, that was the sandwich, I believe.
Right. That
Yes,
was
it was. Yeah. That's it. In this document, it says it goes through a whole thing of Kouri asked an acquaintance known as blah blah to get fentanyl and then contact another individual. It goes through and for different people that contacted her and she contacted. Said she purchased 15 to 30 light greenish blue pills that she understood to be fentanyl. And then later that same day, she put them, made a sandwich and placed it in on the seat of his truck alongside a supposed love note. So when Eric ate the sandwich, he immediately broke out in hives and had trouble breathing. And he did tell somebody he thought she poisoned him.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, a lot of people in chat are saying, yeah, I think he was played. I do too.
Yeah.
And then again, you guys, I can't get over the fact. Let's just hypothetically for a moment, for the discussion's sake, let's say she was guilty. She wrote a book about grief to help her kids. Well, maybe you can help your kids get over grief by not killing their dad. Call me crazy. That just makes me absolutely nuts. Yeah, and Jesse Rowland says, I think he got played. I don't think he was dumb, just used to a more simple, he's just used to a more simple life and not expecting the manipulation and the game she played. Exactly. She was smart.
Yeah, I think that too. Yeah.
Yeah. He fell in love with her. And now, this may come as news to somebody. And Stacey, this may shock you. I've never said this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I don't know now.
I know. Get ready. Sometimes guys get played by women. It happens. Shocking. I know. But yeah, I think he completely got played by her. And I think she's really good. She's really, really good. I had to smile at the fact that she didn't realize that her house was in a trust. And what the hell, that, she didn't have any control over it. And yeah.
Which is so strange because in these documents, that was like he had purchased the house. Eric had got it before they were married and stuff. So this documents go on into the house thing. And then I don't know if this has been said, but also in these documents, sorry, my husband's coughing.
Oh, that's okay. No, he's allowed. He's had open heart surgery. We will allow him to cough. That's absolutely fine. Go ahead, my dear.
It says that supposedly Kouri had taken out forged a power of attorney and life insurance for Eric.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She forged it. Yeah. It's bad, you guys. It's really bad.
Wow. Just really bad.
Yeah. She quite the little manipulator. But Deb, stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody, look what's going round. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have to say the whole sentence from the song. I can't just stop at that. Says, if she's found not guilty, will she get the insurance money? She can, but I would assume Eric's family would sue her. So I think she would lose. I think she'd lose it all in lawsuits. Yeah. And maybe I don't know. I would think that if she is found not guilty, that the life insurance company would have to pay out. They wouldn't be able to say, well, we think you're guilty. But again, I think there's lawsuits now. It's just it'll be ugly. I mean, if she is found not guilty and she walks, her life is going to be over. And I was surprised to hear that she had cleaned toilets in Park City. I know a lot of people that did that. I lived in Park City for many, many years. And there are some uber rich people there. And unless I wasn't used to being around people that rich. I mean, these people were, their kids went to private academies I didn't even know existed in Park City. They're hidden behind trees and You know, you can't get in there unless you're part of it. And I'm like, what the hell? You know,
They're private, Tricia. Come on.
Yeah, but it's like it's scary. It's like something out of a horror movie. And it's like, oh my God, these kids, they're going to this private academy and they wear uniforms, and I was stunned. I mean, and their classes are really, really small. It's hundreds of thousands to go there. I had no idea these things existed until I lived in Park City. Will was friends with one of the kids that went to one of these private academies. Their family was part of the oh gosh, it was, I don't want to say the name of it. It's a huge medical company. If I said the name, you'd know it. And this is what generations of their family did. The kids went to private academies and they lived the ultra rich lifestyle. And then occasionally they'd come down to earth and let their kids play with the poor people kids, like my kid, you know, so the kids were nice as hell. They were great kids, but yeah, I had nothing to talk about with these parents, you know, and I'm just like, I just want to start laughing, you know, because they're so different than, I shouldn't say all of them, but the uber rich like this, they just again, I didn't know what to talk to them about. I didn't have any stock portfolios. I tried to talk to him about John Benet Ramsay. That went over big. Of course, I try that with everybody, and everybody hates it. But oh well. I was the weirdo in Park City that was obsessed with the Ramsay case. So anyway, back to this. Okay, now we're going to play this phone call. And Stacey, I want you to set it up and tell everybody, because this is your thing. And this is really amazing that you were able to get these calls. And I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to get the picture of Genie again and put it up here. So let me grab it really quickly. So while you're talking, I'll grab her picture and you can explain it.
Okay, so last time when the first part of the phone call, we had left off and Genie had said to Kouri, we're not going to talk about your criminal trial at any time, you know, but would you be able to talk about the injury attorney? And so what it has to do with, and they go into that, is that a lot of you know that Kouri had a seizure when she was in jail because she was given the wrong medication. And then it says they go into what happened and contacting a personal injury attorney and asking about, you know, if she had a case or if anybody would take it. So that's what it goes in.
Okay. And did you send that to me using the producer email or your personal email? Do you remember the picture?
My audio just went out for a minute. Okay.
Do you remember which email you sent the picture of Genie to me from?
Producer.
Okay. Let me grab that really quickly here.
Yeah.
Thumbnail. Mugshots. Here we go. I may already have this still in here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so this is the phone call. And Stacey, you want to just go ahead and start playing it, and I'm going to put Genie's picture up. And again, Genie was a researcher, a really good researcher, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she was writing a book. She was helping somebody write a book, and that's why she was talking to Kouri Richins. And I wanted to point out that she was worried that you would think less of her because she was so nice to Kouri. But when you're researching a book, you got to talk to the people who are involved, and you have to be nice to them. You have to be polite. And I completely understand. So.
Yeah. Okay. I just got to switch here. All right.
Okay, take your time.
I'll do it. All right.
And this is her. And again, our condolences to her family. And thank you so much for giving us permission to play these calls. These calls were never actually meant to be public. They were just for research purposes for the book. And she died unexpectedly. It was a medication situation, and very, very young, early 50s. Very just unfair, man. Just really unfair, you know. So. Do you need to see that on the in the studio, or is the picture okay where I have it?
It is. So what they do is they have like a phone in the main room.
That was good. Hello, Stacy? I don't know what's going on. Chad's portal is here again.
Tablet, you know. So yeah, so the 20 minutes doesn't really matter, but it's still automatically enabled, I guess.
Are the headphones expensive?
You know what? They are ridiculously expensive. They're $22, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they are something like stuff to get you out of there. Like they break every other week.
Oh
You
no.
can only buy these ones. You can only buy the ones through them.
Oh.
Like, I think I don't know. I spent $200 on headphones. Like,
Wow.
they're just really cheap. They're just cheap dollar store headphones for $22. Like,
And then they break over and over and over again. Awesome.
yes. Yes.
Damn.
And so I'm like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, we can kind of vaguely talk about it. I always worry. I'm like, I don't want to give them too much of a heads up on anything, you know?
Right. Well,
but yeah.
I'll just tell you that hang on, I gotta take off my jacket here. I'm getting hot inside. Most of the ones I talked to, seem to feel that more damages need to have happened, which I found hilarious. So then when I started making calls, I prefaced it with, look, we think that 7 times receiving the wrong thing and a seizure is plenty of damage. If you don't agree, let me know now so I can move on. I started prefacing it with that because I was like, okay, I'm done with you. Sorry. Sorry, but I just kind of skipped over all of it and got right to the point. So, yeah, there are way too many personal injury attorneys out there that are, there's no other way to say it, looking for a quick buck. And to me, that's got to be a quick buck. It's
okay. I'm glad you agree because I feel the 100% the same way. I'm like, this is open and closed.
It exactly is. Because there's proof. I mean, there's actual proof. Well, the thing is, one of them told me that the liability part he thought had been reached. Liability meant it had been proven. What he said to me was, though, he said you could be sitting on one of these juries. He didn't know I was in Virginia. And I said, okay, sure, I could. And he said, what would you award for damages for a seizure? Well, and I was thinking, and I said to him, well, it wasn't just a seizure. It was the 7 issues and then that.
Yeah.
Because he did call that medical malpractice. The 7 times. Yes. Because whoever dispensed them was guilty of medical malpractice each time, even if it was a guard.
So, really?
Oh, yeah. Because because you're in their care, they are responsible for every part of you. Your physical, your mental, your psychological, all of your well-being, even your medical well-being. So every time that they did that, it was medical malpractice. And so he agreed with that part. That was what reached that threshold, the liability threshold. He just didn't think that a jury would award enough for it to be worth it to an attorney. This is just one guy who kind of gave it to me straight right out of the gate. And I was like, well, thank you so much for telling me that, because none of these other attorneys are saying those words. So at least I know what I have to go up against. Then I started saying to the rest, do you have a problem with this? Is this a problem for you? Are you afraid of this county? Are you afraid of this jail? Because if so, tell me now, move on. I have 20 other places to call. Well, I'm sorry. I'm kind of rude and to the point. Sorry. did remember to try to at least sound professional. You know, I didn't swear like a sailor when I was talking to him. I might have when I get off the phone, but so I kept it professional. That's all that matters. I did. I sounded professional when I was, you know, asking them, look, let's move this along. I need you to answer yes or no, and then I'm going to hang up. So I am still calling on that. I think I'm going to go bigger and call a nationwide firm because I'm wondering if the issue is actually that I'm calling places within the county. So, but I did call one of the bigger firms, and that is nationwide, but also there. And they wanted a lot more damage to you physically to take it. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, but a seizure is pretty much a black box event in your brain. You don't know how it was caused or what happened during it or what's going to happen later. You don't know what's going to happen to her body later from that. You know? Exactly. That's pretty damn serious to me, mister. So that's where I'm at with those. But I am still... I'm glad you're doing it exactly the way that I 100% would do it, you know, so I can't thank you enough for being on the search for that, and, you know, all of your comebacks to them are exactly what something I would say, you know? Yeah, that's how I started out softballing it, but now I'm like, no, I'm done. Like, because several of them sounded like they were going to, so then I passed it on to your mom and Ronnie. And then they came back and gave your mom and Ronnie answers, and they were like, no, we're not going to do this. I was like, wait a minute. No. Okay. Now no. So, yeah. Yes. No, that makes sense. I was wondering if there was like more nationwide. Yeah. Well, but I don't know how all that works. You don't realize how much you miss Google until you're in here. Oh, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine my life without Google. Like, I literally can't. I have a background in computers, so I use a lot of search engines, but Google's my first go-to anyway for anything. So if somebody got my Google search, oh my God, that would be it. I'd be done in for. I was just about to say, be careful with that. Yeah. Yes, I bet. Oh, anybody in my media whose family dies, I'm screwed. They get my Google, I'm going to look the worst. One of the main ones that I called was Morgan and Morgan. Do you remember they used to be called Morgan Calling Gilbert? Oh. Yeah, right? And they are nationwide. Yeah. But they were one of the first ones that said yes. Then I passed it to Ronnie, and eventually they said no. They wanted more damage to you. Oh, goodness gracious. And I felt like saying, well, give them time. There might be more damage. I mean, so, right? So yeah, I guess I need to troll the personal injury attorney, you know, pool. So yeah, I am still working on that. I wanted to let you know. I know that it's at least something that I can do. I can find someone. There has to be someone. I mean, and that's huge. Yeah, that has to be huge. That is huge. And I feel like for every, 50 no's, eventually a yes comes along. Exactly. Someone, with enough courage and brains and who think like we think. It's never going to hurt for me to keep calling. Because even if they keep telling me no, the next one might say yes. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, so I appreciate that so much because it's huge and it's very time consuming and, and it sounds like you do have all the right questions to ask. And so I really, really, really appreciate you. I hope you know that. Oh, sure. Of course, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not like you can make calls from in there, right? Right. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to answer a call. No. From the jail. Your mom asked something about could you make business calls, and I'm like, well, sure, if she wanted to say that it's a call from Summit County Jail and press 1 to accept, she was like, oh.
Right?
She's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, that's why she has to have her attorney make business calls for her. She can't do that. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I don't want you to ever feel like, that you're not doing enough. I don't want you to look at your notebooks and feel like, what have we accomplished? Because it's more than you know.
Well, I have lots of notes. I don't. I have lots of notes. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but lots and lots of notes. There's that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it'll amount to something one of these days, It's just a lot. It's a lot on everybody, and I'm ready to be done. I want the stress off of everybody, and
I know that recently, I wanted to ask you about books. I know that recently you read J.C. Duggar's book, and I am so sorry. I don't know who sent you that. J.C. Duggar's book, J.C. Duggar's life, really, really hard to deal with. Your mom said to me that you were reading it and then you called crying, and I'm like, of course she did. I'm like, that's like hardcore, and then I explained to your mom all about it, and she was like, oh. I'm like, yeah, oh. So I wanted to ask you, are there any authors that you read before, or are there any books that you want? Anything you've thought of, or any?
Not really. I mean, I don't love fantasy books, but other than that, I like,
Okay.
I do like the true crime books or memoirs or biographies and.
Okay. Because I was gonna send you some.
That's very sweet of you. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'm pretty open to anything.
Okay. All right. I was gonna send you some. I know. I assumed that your mama would tell me if you needed money in your commissary. I assumed she would say so. So I figured instead I would send books. So.
But that is very kind of you. I love that idea. I read a lot to pass time.
Yeah.
And I've been too far to tell you, but I can only study for that LSAT for so long. So
because it's dry. Because it's like dry reading, or
it's just like it's just kind of dry reading, and I feel like it just kind of gets boring after a while.
Oh,
yeah. I've read it so much in the last 7 months that I'm like, okay, let's move on. I'm ready to take this thing
I couldn't do it. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I mean, but I'm a nerd. I like school. I do like studying and stuff. But you can only do it for so long, And so I've just been reading other things to pass time, and I did like the J.C. Duggar book. It just reminded me, really just to kind of have courage and to stay strong. And that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So as dark as it was still light too, in a way.
There is that. She did survive. I mean, she could have given up.
And if she could do it for 18 years.
Right? With kids and. I mean, and she didn't. Can you imagine? I mean, she raised those kids in the backyard.
Yes, it was a crazy, crazy book. And you know what was so crazy about that one? And I read the Websleuths Smart one too. They both are just so brainwashed by these men.
Yeah.
To the point after the men were arrested, they were worried about them and asking what's going to happen to them and are they going to be okay?
Yeah.
And that just kind of blew my mind.
right? Well, think about, I mean, Elizabeth Smart was rescued sooner, but think about still, I mean, he had her, think about Abraham, I think. Was it Abraham?
Mitchell? Oh, no,
yeah, Brian. Emmanuel, thank you, that was it. He had her for at least several months and wore her down because he had her specifically, you know, isolated, right? Around no one else, no creature comforts, no nothing. I mean, and she was so young. They both were.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I can't, it's so bad. And it makes me think about, because I also volunteer with, have you ever heard of Polly Class? Do you know who that is or was? Polly Class was a girl who she went to a sleepover at a friend's house, and a guy kind of broke in through the window and he kidnapped her, and he unfortunately killed her. And her dad, Mark Class, made something called Class Kids. It was one of the first missing kids things. It kind of went along with, I don't know if you probably heard of John Walsh. He did America's Most Wanted. Yeah. His son Adam was also abducted and killed, and he created the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and they work more with the FBI. But either way, I volunteer with both. And
that is so cool.
Well, I have to do something, right? I work on all these kids' cases, and I have to do something. But my what it makes me think about every time I get another missing poster is I used to think that they were all dead. I used to think, well, this child's dead. They've had them for over 48 hours. They're dead. But then I think about JC. Then I think about Elizabeth, and then I think maybe they're not. And the parents have got to be thinking that too, right? Because their stories they're not just about how they survived, but the fact that they lived, which both sets of investigators were telling the parents that those kids were gone, so it's a statistic, and it's a kind of a well-proven statistic, but those two, kind of divide the odds. So, I mean, I like to think about them every time I get a new poster, maybe this is the one,
exactly.
So
anyway. It just gives you hope. I feel like without hope,
it does.
What do you have, right?
It does, exactly. So, sorry, I know that's a complete downer, but I don't know. How did we get there? Oh, right.
No, that makes...
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I can just hear your mom. So we just talked to her about missing kids and how, most of them are gone. Uplifting topic.
That's okay. That's the encouragement I found from both of those stories. Like, they've had it way worse than I have it, and they're, just their mentality to hold on and keep holding on, and everything's going to be okay, and so that's definitely what I took from it, and, you can only live in a nightmare for so long, right?
Exactly. My husband asked me today, I told him, about the rules, not talking about the criminal case, he said, what are you going to talk about? And I said, well, we can talk about the kids, we can talk about how she's doing. And he said, you can talk about the civil case. And I said, what's there to talk about? They want all the money. And he started laughing.
Stacy, how do we remove this picture?
Okay, I can get it for you.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Now I'm confused. Hold on. Oh, there's a button.
Oh my God. No. Okay. Oh God. Do I need to do something to remove this picture?
Okay.
I have no idea what was said on that phone call. Oh my God. I can't stop laughing. Okay, I'm hearing echoes.
Oh yeah, I just stopped it real quick.
Let me
I'm so sorry. He broke
Do not
you.
apologize. Do not apologize. Oh God. If you were listening to that phone call, you probably know what I'm laughing at. I just have not been able to stop. Oh my God. Oh my God. My nose is running. My eyes are watering. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay.
He has headphones in too. He has no idea what's going on. He's just sitting there watching wrestling on his phone with his headphones. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now, if you in case you missed
Oh my God.
Okay. Now, it's not funny that Stacy's husband is recovering from open heart surgery. He's doing very well. He's doing great. And where Stacy has her set up is in the area where he is being taken care of. So he's right there by her microphone. And I don't think he knew the microphone was on. And he did an earth-shattering burp that it just orbited me. Oh, as soon as I heard it, and there's like snorting and sniffing, and I'm hearing all these sounds. And then all of a sudden, I don't think he had any idea that there was a hot mic, because you can't turn off your mic, because if you do, then we can't hear the phone call because you're playing it through your phone, through your microphone. So you have to have your audio on so we hear what's going on in your house. And so, no,
I tell him all the time, dude, you make any noise, they can hear you. I don't think he gets it.
Oh, well, we got to play this back for him because he's a star now, because it was epic. And I have been laughing the whole time, and I've been trying to get it under control. But then I'm thinking, I don't even know what the hell that phone call was about. I have no idea. I was just laughing so hard. Oh my God. Oh God. I heard something about JC Duggar and Kouri is trying to sound all empathetic. I can't imagine what it'd be like to, yeah, she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, and they talked about Elizabeth Smart and Polly. She talked about the true crime stuff, and Kouri knew a lot about it.
Yeah, and she I guess she did some volunteer work with class kids too. I might have met her.
Genie.
Yeah, Genie. Yeah, I might have met Genie. Because I went on not all of them, but I went on a bunch of those searches back in the day. So I very well could have met her. There was lots of great volunteers. But yeah, that's when I read that. That's when I died. I just fell over and died. You couldn't see me because I'd taken myself off the camera. But yeah, Shonia K says, I was laughing so hard. All of the comments from the viewers who were wondering what in the hell was going on.
And it's funny because it happened. I left the room for a minute to go grab something. And then I get a text from you and I'm like, oh my God. Just when
And
I
then
left.
I thought I've got it. Maybe I don't want to hurt his feelings, because I don't want to think we're laughing at him, but it was an epic belch. It was ground shaking, earth rattling. It was epic. And it just came out of nowhere.
Oh.
Oh God, I'm 12. I'm 12 people. That just made me laugh. It just, oh God, hold on. I'm so sorry. Just a second.
That's the thing, like I would tell scientific skeptic and stuff, and you have the same bit. You guys don't have other people in your house. He would always gripe about my background noises. I'm like, dude, you live with your cat. That's it. You don't have people walking around and
I have
doing all
nobody.
this stuff.
I have my animals. They bark, and my cat. Man, that's it. Oh my God. Oh, I have not laughed that hard. Well, probably since New Year's Eve when I declared Wendy Wobble's dead. Yeah. I have not laughed that hard. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Angela Conley says, I tried not to mention it at first.
I never would have known if you had told me because I don't listen back,
Oh my God. Oh, geez. Okay. So, they were talking about Elizabeth Smart and, and I think that Kouri was trying to sound empathetic because Genie was telling her all the true crime stuff that she does, like with Class Kids, and they were talking about these cases, and and Genie is very empathetic, and again, talking about how horrible it was for J.C. Duggar to, have to, she was kidnapped and had 2 kids by that jerk and lived in a tent in the backyard, and they were talking about that, and Kouri was trying to just sound like, that's just so terrible, and trying to keep up with the empathy, but I don't think she has an empathetic bone in her body,
Right.
So it's interesting now to listen to this, to hear how she's trying to be all, it would be so awful as a mother, I can't imagine, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my gosh.
what I will say about Genie is she did a lot of child cases and she would get the records. I mean, I have some records from CPS. I don't know how she got them and stuff that she shared with me on cases. And oh my God.
Bad stuff.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad
She
stuff.
was
And she did it.
amazing. Yeah. And you're right. You're not supposed to get Child Protective Services docs, but I think what happens, because this has actually happened once before, when we got some documents for the case, they were mixed in with the court files, and I don't think they know. And so you accidentally get them, and it's like, whoa. So yeah, I know exactly, Angela Connolly. The poor guy, your poor husband was coughing. I felt so bad for him, and he can't hold it in. He's got to let it out.
Yeah,
So,
that's part of it. They said getting his lungs cleared out and everything.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And so, it's part, and again, he's just had open heart surgery, and I hope he doesn't think we're making fun of him. We are not. I am not. I could not stop laughing. In fact, I will probably start up here in a moment.
He'll never know unless I tell him.
You're not going to tell him that he's famous?
Well, I'm going to tell him, yeah.
Oh, God, that is just too funny. Slamar and Genie died. She went out with some friends, and they don't know what happened. And Stacy, stop me if I'm incorrect here, but she had taken some medication, and they think there was some sort of episode with the medication. It was an accident. It wasn't anything intentional.
Right.
So yeah, it was just sad. It was very, very sad that something like that happened. So very, very unexpected too.
Oh, you're shocked. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly, Candy Williams. That is a great point. So how creepy and friendly, exactly, people who have no empathy, how they come across. And see, if we had heard that before we knew anything about this case, we wouldn't have thought twice about what Kouri Richins was saying. But now knowing just how cold-hearted she is and what she did to her husband, and, to me, what she did to her own children, it is, it's very telling. It's a great look into the mind of, I'm not saying she's a sociopath. I have no idea. But it's an interesting look into the mind of a criminal who is trying to sound empathetic and agree with this person. So
yeah, and I know there's other cases we've covered, and people get upset when we play what they're saying, the perpetrator is saying, but there's a reason people study them. There's a reason, it's so you learn from it.
Exactly, and that's what I feel like this is too. And yes, Kouri thinks, is that what Kouri said? She thinks her jail plight is like is like JC and Elizabeth Smarts. I didn't catch that because I was laughing so hard.
I'm not sure if she actually said that part or not.
But that's probably what she was implying. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I could see that. I could.
Yeah,
that's like something Lori would say.
Exactly. You know what?
Yeah,
you're exactly right. She's so much like Lori in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wonder, what if she'd gotten away with this? What if she would have gotten away? The next partner she had, this poor guy, Mr. Grossman, would he have been next if she was tired of him? Well, Eric, again, allegedly, his death was, financial help for her. And then she could be free to pursue her love of this guy, or what she thought was love. But again, I think she was just using him big time to flip these houses. I mean, what a great person to have in your life, to come in and live in the house and to do all that work, Yeah, I'd be grateful for somebody like that. And I'm beginning to see a real outline of who she is. Cleaning toilets in Park City for the rich will change you. And I can see her saying, I am not ever going to do this. I'm going to be the one hiring people to clean my toilets in Park City. So that was her goal. And her boyfriend could help her attain that goal. Could do all the hard, heavy lifting here. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned it earlier, and listening to him speak and the text messages that were read, I liken it to Pamela Smart and Billy Flynn, and how I think she wanted him to kill Eric, maybe.
You think she wanted him to what?
Maybe off Eric for her.
Well, yeah, and maybe that's what she was trying to see, if he was capable of doing that. I don't think he could have at all. And she probably realized that. But you're right. Yeah, I think she was working on him to see just how far he would go for her.
Mm-hmm.
But she had to get rid of Eric. I think it was as much a money thing as anything. Because she was in debt. She had forged his signature. She didn't want to get caught. So yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. So let's see.
And to mention, today is the 4-year anniversary of his death as well.
Wow, that's wild. 4 years ago. Now, I've got to get this interview. I did not see this. Josh's brother did an interview yesterday and believes he is as guilty as Kouri. See, that really surprises me. Did any of you think he was guilty at all of this? I didn't see that. But again, I'm just going by the little bit I saw of him in court. So.
Yeah, well, that was today, right, that he testified?
Yes.
Yeah. So he might not have, obviously he didn't see the testimony yet. He might change his mind now. I don't know.
That's true. He might. He might. Yeah. Let's see. Do we know that she cleaned toilets for rich people in Park City? She could have made that up. Absolutely. No question. I don't think you can believe a damn thing she says. So, yeah, that wouldn't scare me at all. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if she did. And by God, she was just not going to never, ever be the one to clean a toilet again. It was everybody else that was going to clean her toilets. And I know people like that. Yeah. Again, living in Park City, I was exposed to some pretty wild rich people, and wonderful rich people too. Really great friends that are incredibly wealthy. And they worked hard for their wealth, and they deserved every bit of it. But yeah, there's some weirdos there too, for sure. So, and yes, Deborah, I agree. She could really readily manipulate him big time. Big time. So, yeah, and you're right. It is like Pamela Smart and Billy. What she manipulated that kid. Oh, man. Have you ever looked up to see what he's doing these days? I haven't heard anything about him for years.
Yeah, well, he was, I think he was released. Let me double check.
Right. I think he was.
And since then, I don't know. But yeah, when you go back to the manipulation she pulled on him, I mean, he is responsible for his own actions, but geez, You know, there's the people like that. We see it with adults, like
Yeah.
Lori. Some people can just manipulate others so much and they believe everything they say. So what
Can you
chance
imagine
did
a
Billy
kid?
have, really?
I don't think he had a chance. He was 16 years old. He had nothing in his life. He had a horrible home life. And here comes this really cute, hot, blonde teacher who makes him feel like $1 million. You bet he's going to do whatever she wanted, you know? Lindy 2 says Eric did not want her to buy the mansion. She had to cover it up. Really? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She had to cover it up. And that was, again, another reason to kill him. There was a lot of fraud going on, and she could not let him see it because if she was going to get a divorce, he'd get everything. Well, and if it was in a trust, it seems to me like, just again, the little bit I've been looking into this, that if she had tried to divorce him, she would end up with nothing. Probably not even the kids, you know? So, yeah. Let's see here. Josh's brother, according to Robin Dahl, 4836, says Josh's brother said Kouri and Josh were together since 2018, so 4 years before the murder. Yeah. Oh, I think she was I think she was using him. I think she was using him to obviously to flip houses. He was really a big part of her attaining her dream of being wealthy. And she thought she could become wealthy by flipping these houses. And it's a great idea. It really is. It can be done. So I think it's, I don't know. I know a little bit about real estate. That's what my father did every weekend. Was he would work on his rental houses, and we had rental houses all the time growing up, and that's what he would. That's how he made his money. He worked for Farmers Insurance Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends he was a landlord, and he bought property and resold it, and he hated selling things. He would lease it rather than sell it. So yeah, I know a little bit about it, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
That's good though. And my dad. It was the same thing growing up. So that means you've had the experience if you ever went to a rental with your dad after people moved out. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
The horror stories.
I couldn't even begin to tell you. It was
we had it too. So with ours.
Yeah. And it's like, all we wanted them to do was just pay the rent, and they had a nice little house, I just pay the rent. But no, they had to destroy, of course, not everybody. We had some wonderful renters, great renters. But there were those people that would just, and this was back before there was computers. So where you'd have to call somebody to check on them, and before you could do the credit checks and all of that. And so, just show up, and they had lots of money, and then they get their friends to lie for them. And you find out this is what they do. Just go from house to house to house and never, ever pay the rent. And then they'd have to destroy. Oh, I'm sorry, doggy. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I hit him in his little pug nose. I didn't mean to. Baby.
Oh no.
I know. Well, he didn't even notice. He's like, huh? What? I'm sorry. Bring the lamb back here, honey. Come on.
Sure.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not coming back there. Heck no. I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm so sorry. Yeah, To Die For. That was the best movie. That was great. I love that movie. That was fantastic.
I was just typing that because Helen Hunt did A Murder in New Hampshire, which is an accurate portrayal of what happened.
She did a great job. Yes, that was on TV. And
I have the DVD.
That was for a TV movie. That was an incredible movie. I'd recommend that one if you want a something closer to the truth. To Die For was slightly based on the story,
Yeah, it was more like a parody version.
Yes,
kind of,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
A Murder in New Hampshire is on Amazon Prime.
What is? I've got to watch it. I remember watching it and thinking, "Damn, this thing should be in the movie theater, not on TV." She was so good.
The networks did great movies back then. That's why I like the Helter Skelter, and so most of those are available on Prime. The Betty Broderick one with Meredith Baxter.
Oh, that is
I have
so good.
all those. I buy them all. And remember the Texas Cadet Murder, David Graham and Diane Zamora?
Yeah.
I have that. I buy all those.
Those are great. So is the what was the one? Not Helter Skelter. You mentioned something else, and I didn't realize it was on Prime.
Betty Broderick, the Murder in New Hampshire.
No, actually, it was. So Helter Skelter with Stephen Railsback. Is that on Amazon?
Yeah, I can show you.
It's for 1976, I think is when that was made. That was incredible.
that was
So,
the only place I could find it was on Amazon Prime, and I was just shocked. So I bought it. But
yeah,
it's one of the
great.
first movies I bought when I got Prime, so it was a long time ago.
It may not be on there anymore, but yeah, and he did an amazing job as Ed Gein too.
Mhm.
Oh
Oh,
my
he
gosh,
did. Yeah.
that was a creepy movie. I love him. He's fantastic. Yeah, that came out when I was in high school, and I remember I
Oh
wrote
my
a
God.
report on it. It was, and see, you have to remember back then, people. I sound like an old lady. Well, I am an old lady,
Well,
but
I
back
watched it.
then,
I was really little, but I saw it and I watched it with my dad
yeah, and see, but back
on
then,
TV.
Stacy, we didn't have all of these choices and options and everything.
Hmm.
So when that came out, I think it was like played over 2 nights or
Hmm.
maybe even
Yes, it
4
was.
nights.
It's a
Okay.
two-parter. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just so shocking. I mean,
Mhm.
and it was a massive success. And I remember watching it and I was just enthralled with it because it really showed the Manson family.
Yes.
And we didn't see, we just only had newspapers and we had the Vincent Bugliosi book. But unless you read that and got into it, you didn't realize what the how crazy the Manson family was and the things they did. And real quick, the couple of things that Bugliosi said in the book, and it was portrayed in the movie as well. One was they could never figure out how in the hell they got this bus up to Spawn Ranch because they'd have to go over these big rocks and everything. And so they would ask, you know, the crazy hippies living there, how did Charlie and everybody get the bus up? And they all said the same thing. They said he flew it up there. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I'm paraphrasing. Bugliosi said, I there's no logical explanation how they got it up there. I think they probably took it apart, carried it up, and put it back together. But and
Yeah.
then another time, he said Manson was staring at him, like having a staring contest with him, and he looked down and his watch had stopped, and he thought that was freaky. You know?
Oh, yeah. That was, yeah, during the trial, supposedly.
Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
then,
that's.
oh,
Go ahead.
Bugliosi also, there was another TV movie based on a case Bugliosi defended, and that was And the Sea Will Tell,
And the
which
Sea
is
Will
a
Tell,
great
which
movie.
I think she knew what was going on. Don't you?
Right.
And
Jennifer, yeah.
that was one where she had this disgusting boyfriend, and they were sailing around
Buck.
the world, and they stopped at this island, and there was this couple there that had a lovely, like a lovely boat, and they had this ragtag boat that he had tried to build. Anyway, he ended up killing this couple for the boat, and she claims she didn't know that he told her that they had given it to him and had taken off or something stupid like that. And he defended her. Bugliosi did.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll never forget this. As the jury came back in and they stood up, he turned to her and he said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because he was so sure they were going to come back and say she was guilty.
Right.
I don't know. Do you think she was guilty?
You know, I logically, when you think of it, how does she not think
How
that?
does she not
Especially when
know?
it was
Yeah,
Mac and Muff Graham were the couple,
that's right.
and they were in communication with family and people that would bring supplies and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's like how, I mean, really, if I'm there, I had to think about it. If I'm there and like my husband goes, oh, we're going to take their boat and go here. I mean, I would not be comfortable with that.
No.
And the
No.
island was Palmyra. And so
Palmyra,
if you guys are interested, look up the murder of Mac and Muff Graham.
you should, because
yeah.
it's bizarre. And I'll never forget this one thing. And this to me spoke just so much to who this guy, what was his name? The killer, the boyfriend, do you
Buck.
remember?
I can't
What?
remember the last name, just Buck. I'd have to look it up.
Buck was his first name?
Yeah.
Okay. He smoked. Buck smoked a lot, but they were always broke and could never buy cigarettes. So they go to Palmyra and they had cigarettes. What were their names again? Muffy and what?
Muff and Mac, and
Muff and
his
Mac.
name was Buck Walker.
Buck. And so Mac had cigarettes, and he said, yeah, would you like one? And he took the whole pack, dumped them out in his hand, and then gave him the pack back with like one in it. You know, and I thought, wow, boy, he just so entitled, you know. And this couple worked hard their whole life to get this nice boat, and they had this, great great group of friends, and they all knew each other, and these people show up on this island and they just ruin it because this guy is just so selfish and cruel. And he ended up putting them in these little canisters and throwing them out to the ocean. I mean, how could really they gave Buck their boat? Really, Jennifer? Really?
Oh, and just to correct myself, her name was Stephanie, but they used Jennifer in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Why they changed her name, I don't know, but they left everybody else's anonymity because I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, really? She gets up and they're gone, and the boat's there, and he says, "Yeah, they gave it to me," and she said she believed it. Come on, really?
Oh, I just thought. I believe. Let me post it. It's on YouTube. Hold on. The movie.
It is?
Believe so. I watched it. See, I have it on DVD, but I watched it a while back. Here it is. Get it. And then I rewatched Helter Skelter. Yes. Here's part 1 and part 2. Okay.
Does it cost anything?
No, it's free. Somebody uploaded it. There's a lot of the old TV movies on YouTube because people upload them. That's what brought me to YouTube years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Watching the Sea Will Tell. It is. I read the book first before I watched the movie. And the movie was actually a very good replica of the book. But this Buck guy, what a piece of crap. I just get so mad at women that choose these idiot guys and go along with them. You know, she's the one that did all the hard work. She's the one that did all the mapping to make sure they were going in the right direction. And he built this boat. And I think he might have even stolen the boat, the big rickety boat that they had. And it was just a piece of crap, you know. And then so he sees this beautiful boat that Mac and Muff have, and he decides he wants it for himself. So he kills him. What a dirtbag. So.
Oh, but he was a hippie, Tricia.
Oh, that's right. He was a hippie, love and peace and all of that. Yeah. I was a hippie too, but we didn't kill people, you know.
Yeah.
So, just
that's because you didn't meet Charles and Buck. No.
I know. I wonder what I would have done if I'd met Charles Manson.
Oh, I know, right?
Too scared to do anything. Just too terrified. Oh my gosh, you realize we've almost gone on 3 hours. The name of the movie is And the Sea Will Tell. Yuda, good to see you, my darling. I hope you're doing well. God, we are just, 14 minutes away from going 3 hours. That's unusual. That's really unusual. So I may watch that. Oh, I got a lot of work to do, guys. I got to get going. Okay, I want to thank our mods. You've been here for 3 hours tonight, almost. Four Sons Mom, Lynn Jen 2, Detective's Daughter, Moonlight View, Love and Coco, and Alicia Gallegos. Ladies, thank you so much. And be thinking about it. We are going to have a traumatic hair day. And Moonlight View sent me a picture of her traumatic hair when she was a little kid. And it is so, I think it's adorable. But I can see why when you're that age. She cut it herself, and it is hilarious. So if you have funny pictures of your hairdo, get ready. We're going to be doing that soon. I can't find my picture of mine. I'm going to have AI recreate what I looked like with my hairdo. It was so bad. And it was very, very traumatizing. I can still remember the names of the boys in 6th grade who laughed at me when I walked to school. I wanted to look like Carol Brady. I wanted a shag. And I don't know what the hell I got. Oh, I thought Carol Brady was cool and hip, you know. But I got something, like I said, it looked like a mortician did it for a little old lady.
Wait, when you talk about Carol, are you talking about Florence Henderson?
Yeah, Florence Henderson, Carol Brady. Yeah, I mean, her character, you know, I wanted that. Yeah. I wanted that shag. And I looked like a little old lady who had fallen asleep with a cigarette and had half my hair burned off. You know, I mean, it just looked so bad.
That shows our difference. The one time I went to the beautician and said, I brought a picture and I said, I want my hair like this. It was John Bon Jovi. Didn't he have the best hair?
He did. I chatted and met with him for a while.
Oh,
I hung up on him and told him to go to hell once. I told you that story. Yeah. I thought it was a joke, but they didn't tell me I was supposed to interview him. And so they put him through, and I thought it was my friend. I went, oh, just shut up. Just stop it. Leave me alone. Go to hell. And I hung up on him. Yeah, that was good. He laughed. He thought it was funny. So,
he's probably used to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone tells him to go to hell and hangs up on him. But yeah, I got to meet him, and oh my God. That hair was gorgeous.
Mm,
It was
yeah.
so beautiful. Did they make it look like John Bon Jovi?
Not really. She layered it and then it was the wet look. So I had to put stuff in it. But you know, those waves that he had and those little curls were so distinctive. And that's what did it, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And he still has great hair to this day. Did you see what he did? He's got that kitchen in New Jersey, that restaurant where you can come in and eat if you don't have
Oh,
any money. I mean, he's such a great guy.
oh, and did you
I love
see
him.
a while back he rescued a lady off the bridge who was gonna jump?
No,
Yeah,
really?
there's video of it all over. So there was some lady sitting like on the up on the rail on the edge, and
Yeah.
he was with his wife or whatever, and they walked up and he talked her down.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
What an amazing guy. He really is. He walks the walk, man. He does. He
Yeah.
truly does. So I've got to find that.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
Yuta said I had the Farrah Fawcett cut. I bet that was pretty.
Ooh,
I
pretty.
tried to get it, but it ended up with I had 2 little flips on the side and then just straight hair. I look like an idiot. Candy Williams says, when shags started being popular, I got my hair cut by a man who had studied in LA under J.
Oh,
Sebring, the victim of the
yeah.
Manson family. Did it? I bet they did a great job though when you got your shag. I never got the shag. Like I said, I ended up looking like a mortician's assistant had done my hair for a viewing. It was so bad. Oh my gosh.
I'm
Okay,
glad I was a
everybody.
teenager in the 80s. The hair was cooler.
Yeah, it was so cool. And you could just make it big. It just had to be
Yeah.
big, you know? So,
Okay.
okay, everybody, thank you so much. And Stacy, thank your husband for burping so loud that it made the dogs and me go, what? What was that? So, it was great. It was really good. And thank you everybody for being so patient. I want to thank Little Texan for coming on to update us on Josh Duggar. And I don't know what tomorrow will bring, my darlings. I don't think we'll go 3 hours tomorrow, but we just need to go a long time tonight and chit chat for a bit. So, okay, everybody, that is it. I want to thank you. Don't forget to check out websleuths.com and please, please, please subscribe to this channel. We are not monetized. I'm trying to get to 50,000. Okay. We are at 48,933 last time I checked. If we can get to 49,000 soon, then we'll work on 50. When we get to 50,000, I'll tell you why. And it's a very personal reason. It's kind of, I think you'll find it interesting. So we're just going to keep going here. Websleuths.com, the best true crime discussion forum ever, ever, ever. Otherwise, we'll see you here tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern on Websleuths YouTube Live. Bye, everybody.
Bye.